Yeah, that was beautiful, Xander.
That's good.
Alright, ready to begin?
Yes.
We clap sync at the same time. That was a beautiful moment.
I was a little bit early.
It was almost there.
Exactly.
It was a
the
great
intentions
attempt.
were good.
It was. Welcome to the podcast. This is a long time coming.
It is.
We're finally talking about The Last of Us in all of its glory.
Yes.
We wanted to do this podcast ever since the show was announced, but we thought, no, we'll wait till season 1's finished at least, and then we'll talk about everything Last of Us, not just, season 1, but the game, the DLC, and all that surrounds it. We should have done this in your room with the Last of Us posters in the background, I just realised. Yeah. That's okay. It's not the end of the world.
I'll take a picture of my wall and you can just edit it to the wall.
Oh, that's such an easy job.
I'll just mask us over the wall.
Yeah, it's an easy job, honestly.
Exactly.
I don't know why editors complain about that.
Yeah.
It's just such an easy thing to do.
Yeah, I'll send you a picture of my wall and you just stick it up and it's all good.
You don't even have to take the picture of the wall in perfect lighting, just take it.
Just from any angle.
You've take it in a portrait photo and I'll just somehow superimpose it landscape.
Yeah. Even if part of it's like cropped out, you've got to like redraw it.
I've got to draw it on by hand, yeah. In fact, why don't I just draw it by hand to begin with?
Yeah, just draw the Last of Us background behind us right now.
I will.
Wow, that's so cool. Look at the Last of Us.
It's so crazy. Definitely Last of Us behind us.
That looks so cool.
I really did try, I promise.
That looks so cool. Good job.
What did you think of The Last of Us Season 1, Xander? Initial thoughts of the whole show so far? Just like, if you can sum up in one sentence while I adjust the lamp real quick.
I would say...
Now keep this going.
Is that good lighting? Is that good lighting?
Oh, it's good.
You got it?
I'm getting you a good angle, don't worry.
Okay. Last of Us Season 1 in a sentence. Everything
Glorious.
I hoped it would be and more.
So, now though,
Yes.
Season 1 versus Game 1, which is your favourite? Out of those two. Part 2, non-existent in this conversation right
I'm going to put nostalgia aside.
Yeah.
Because obviously I would say I played the game first.
Oh yeah.
But, honestly, if they were to now remake Part 1 the game,
Yeah.
based off the show, and have the aspects of the show and the gameplay from Part 1,
Yeah.
I think that would make a better game. With the added stuff from
with the added story.
show.
Oh, I see what you mean, yeah.
So, because I feel like they didn't really take away from the game. They
They just kind of added more.
So if they
nice.
added those bits to the first game, I think that would make a smoother game.
In fact, I think that we're going to talk more about broad, what we liked, what we think could change later, but at least from like the general perspective, I think the most popular stuff about Season 1 is the stuff that they added.
Yeah.
Like Episode 3. It's like probably the most popular one of the season, and yet that was entirely new, except for the character named Bill. Everything else is pretty much
except that
different.
Bill and Frank, and that they were together.
And Frank isn't just a corpse hanging from the ceiling, he's actually a character.
He's a heartbreaking character.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, should we go in order then? Episode 1.
Okay.
Isn't that the longest episode of the show in the end?
85 minutes, I think.
Probably because I think the original plan was Episode 1 was going to be 2 parts, wasn't it? They were going to do the Sarah stuff and then end it there.
And then start with 20 years later for the next episode.
That would have been so weird, wouldn't it?
It would have been a bit jarring. I'm glad they
do you think it still would have worked?
I think it still would have worked, but it just would have been a bit more...
It wouldn't have gripped viewers as tightly as it did if it was one potent dosage.
Yeah.
You know.
They had to do it like that. One long episode establishing Joel's past and where the show's headed.
Yeah.
So that new viewers are like, oh, this is really interesting. And game fans are like, oh shit.
This is what I remember, except
this is
cool.
Exactly what I wanted.
And the thing is that the first episode stays relatively faithful to the game, which I think is a very good move.
Yeah.
Considering how much they change, it's good the initial part is the same, so that the game people can be like, okay, they're not being reckless here. They are staying faithful. At least they know what their audience is. Yeah. They know what they're.
I feel like they knew that the game has a very distinct start.
And a very loyal fan base as well. Yeah, it's the start and end that's
pretty much exactly the same.
Yeah.
And they knew that the game has a very distinct start and a very distinct ending. And in the middle, obviously, it's very distinct. But there's room to mess with it and like toy with it and kind of explore it more.
Yeah.
Episode 1, keep the start and end the same. Okay. And then have some fun in the middle.
I think so. I think that extending the Sarah stuff was really fucking great. Yeah. You know,
it was needed.
Wasn't it? It was something I think that you mentioned that at least visually, they literally like flipped how the shots look, but like they adapted it so faithfully. But it was like
flipped.
It was like flipped. So it's really stupid, subtle things. But it's like Joel holding Sarah at the start. In the game, it's like this. In the show, it's like this. It's like just flipping it.
It's like a mirror image of the game because it's the same thing, but it's flipped on its head, so it's exactly the same.
Yeah, and even in the car ride as well, I thought to myself, wait, I thought the burning barn that they passed was on the right, not the left, and you were like, no, it was. They just flipped it for the show, you said.
Which is a mirror image of the game.
And I think that happens throughout the show at various points, probably.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised, but episode 1 was very noticeable because the start of the game is probably the part I remember the most.
Yeah.
Out of the whole game because of how great it is, really, but... Yeah, crazy. Added stuff for the show then. That boy that shows up after the 20 years later time skip. He shows up and then he dies immediately. I think that's a really good way to show how cold Joel is after time skip.
Yeah, I feel like it shows a lot of things that are kind of like you need to know for the rest of the show, like how cold Joel's become.
And also how fucking brutal the world is.
How like things can go from like looking up to literally in a second. You
burning a child.
Yeah. A dead child, but
but still burning the it's
corpse
fucking
of a child.
Horrid. It's a horrid imagery, isn't it? But it's making a point, saying this is the harsh world we're in now. That stuff with Sarah. Who's Sarah? It was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Catch up.
It's like he's tried to like completely block that off.
Yeah.
And any kind of emotion that he felt towards it.
Yeah, really cool. Wait, so I'm just trying to relive episode 1 real quick because it's been a while, but like, so they added a lot for Sarah because originally like that whole thing was meant to be just in like one evening, right? But they kind of have like a whole day
from the morning,
and you see like clues throughout the thing of like. What was it? It was wheat, wasn't it? Wheat production, or was it something else?
It was in flour.
Flour, and you see little subtle clues of how many times Joel could have been infected.
Pancakes in the morning because
no pancake mixture or whatever.
Mix, because if they had, they would have got infected. If we brought a cake home in the evening, from work,
that's very true. And also Sarah with the cookies as well.
Cookies with the old people next door.
Yeah. Oh, so well done actually.
It is really well done.
Yeah, it's really creepy. What do you think of the change from the spores to the tendrils?
I think it's really good.
Yeah?
I think there's still
I think both really work.
Absolutely.
But I think it is just for different mediums, isn't it? Because the spores adds more level design and more sort of like difficulty to the bosses, whereas in the show you don't really want your protagonists to portray emotion through a mask
the whole time. It's Pedro Pascal, you don't want his face covered for the whole show.
No.
But then I think with season 2 there's still a lot of potential for there to be spores involved.
Yeah, and I think as zombies mutate.
Exactly, as what mutate?
But infected. There's no zombies. It's infected. I'm sorry.
Yes. Thank you. But I think
apologies.
As there's different, variations of the infected. There's room for different types
not
of...
my zombie show.
Exactly, not my zombie show. But there's more room for more ways of spreading the infection, and if an infection mutates and a fungus mutates, it's gonna mutate into different ways of spreading itself, and so spores is like through air is the next thing. And
we're skipping ahead a bit, we'll go in chronological order as we go, but this is more like freeform conversation anyway. But in episode 4, that's not really a bloater, isn't it? It's a shambler, really, if anything. Or would you still classify that as a bloater?
I think it's still a bloater.
Only because I always seen bloaters as being puffed out because of the spores that are all around them rather than anything else.
I think that might be a new infected. I think it's the stages between a clicker and a bloater.
It's not
got to.
Is that not what a shambler is, or is a shambler one's above?
Bloater.
Okay, fair enough.
It's clicker, and they normally just go straight to bloater. We never see the in between. I think this is like the infection's fully grown through. It's still a clicker technically because it can't throw spores.
But it has a lot more armour, so it feels like
it's built up of fungus.
It's like a tanky.
Yeah. So I feel like it's a stage between that we haven't seen yet.
I like that. I you know what I mean though, where it's like I feel like a bloater to qualify needs to have spores all over their body because they're bloated and in that exact sense, I feel like, but who knows? Maybe they are a bloater. I mean, the people who made the show never
they never said it was a bloater. They just said it was another infected.
A big infected.
I'm saying what I think is probably just the in-between of a clicker and a bloater. And they'll go into more bloater territory with the spores in season 2.
That would be cool. I think it would be cool to see some spores. I feel like by default spores will be more sparse if they do them in season 2, because they don't want characters to start relying on gas masks, because that's a slippery slope.
But I still think they will introduce spores, because I feel like they're really going to want the scene. Spoiler alert! It's not that big a spoiler, but for the second game, maybe season 2. But you know when Ellie has the mask on, it cracks.
Oh yes,
like, we need to swap the mask.
And then also, like, no. And another great scene just like that is when she's chasing, what's her face?
Nora.
Yeah, and she's fucking
like, breathing spores.
She's terrified because Ellie's just breathing in all those spores, not caring.
Yeah, we're gonna get that scene, absolutely. But I think that's why I think they are going to introduce some spores or something very similar.
Some sort of airborne pathogen
that
type
you can kind of see.
Yeah, there needs to kind of be that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's not gonna.
It's not gonna. Those scenes in part 2 aren't gonna translate as well otherwise.
I don't know how they would translate them with tendrils and stuff. Like,
no, there isn't really a way.
Unless they just had Ellie get bit again.
But that's just something. They already did that with the clickers in episode 2. Yeah.
She's already been bit twice in season 1, and then she gets bit twice more. It's like, come on.
So. Top 3 moments of episode 1.
Episode 1?
Yeah. Then we can move on to episode 2 now.
Okay, top 3 moments of episode 1. I'm going to say I'd say the first one is the moment where Sarah's been shot and she's on the floor and Joel's cradling her. Because in the game, obviously, it was really sad and upsetting. Yeah. But the main reason it was so upsetting was because of Troy Baker Joel's performance as he was holding Sarah.
True,
there was not that much connection with Sarah.
No.
But then in the show, it's both, because you're seeing Sarah, who you spend the whole day with. You've seen their connection and you've seen her.
Yeah.
And you've got Pedro's performance on top of that.
Yeah. It
like hits like twice as hard.
I think if we're comparing it beat by beat, I think the show does win on that iconic scene versus the game. If nothing else, that scene they did nail better just by default because we had more time with Sarah.
Absolutely, it makes it just hurts a lot more.
Oh, it does.
Like, I feel like Troy maybe put more into that because it was a game, and he had to kind of act so they could animate it.
Yeah, but Pedro's just a great actor, so he was obviously going to nail the scene.
Realistic, and it was kind of like an actual reaction. It was more like shocked. He was more like please, like, just help me.
Just wake up, come on, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah, it's like, but then, really real,
With the game, obviously, he's acting so they can animate over him.
Yeah.
And so,
which is why both performances work amazingly, but you're right, I think, with Sarah's death, the show does kind of nail that better, just by default, because it's TV.
Exactly.
Whereas game, you need to want to get to the gameplay, really, that's what that's about, but
so that's my number 1.
Yeah.
Second,
I really love the first zombie infected.
Oh, the
old lady.
The old lady.
That is
when she's turning
really
in the background
cool.
Was really cool.
That's cool. Yeah. But also when Sarah walks into the kitchen and you see the tendrils crawl out of that guy, out of the guy's ear or whatever. It was whoever she was biting. She was biting.
Oh, it's the woman's neck, and then she comes up, and you can see.
And you see the tendrils come out of her mouth.
The first time you see them, you're like,
it's grim. It is fucking grim. And then the old lady just sprints out after her. That's a great first. That's a great first infected to see. Yeah. Like if there was any like an old lady who can barely walk at the start of the episode is suddenly sprinting.
Like a terror.
Yeah. Like, I mean, not a scary one, but it is like freaky that it's.
If you're there and you're running away from that old woman, she's the scariest.
She should not be running that far. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
freaky. Yeah.
That's a great moment. So I think those are the 2 best moments pre-time skip.
I would agree, but also I really like seeing the plane crash.
What? Okay. This episode has 2 things that are better than the game.
The first episode?
The first episode has 2 things that are better than the game. The other one, the first one was Sarah's thing. The other one, which I absolutely adore, because it really does flesh out Ellie and Joel right off the bat. At least it's just a missed opportunity that the game didn't think about. When Ellie's getting tested when they're outside the gate.
Yes.
And sure, that scene is great and all, but it doesn't have any character revelation moment, whereas in the show they really nailed down the drama and you see parallels to when Sarah was shot and you see Pedro beating that guy to a pulp and you see Ellie watch as well, which foreshadows stuff that happens later with as a person or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think that's just a really awesome scene to end the show on, and episode on, because the scene in the game is good. You know, it's solid, but it doesn't have much symbolism beyond it being, oh, we need to get away from this real quick. Yeah. Oh, Ellie's infected, because that's what the moment is about. It's more just, oh, Ellie's infected. Oh shit. Whereas did we already know that in the show?
We knew that she hadn't turned because it had been a while.
Oh,
we knew she was bitten, that she hadn't turned.
Well, regardless though, the scene is servicing more than just that. It's also servicing Pedro still having PTSD from that moment.
Yeah.
And it coming out. Yeah.
I feel like you see a lot about Ellie and Joel in that one moment, like when he gets the flashback of being stood there with Sarah with the gun pointed at them, and he just
and seeing the gun point, literally, he's not letting another girl get shot down, even if it's some girl he doesn't even care about. Yeah.
Well, that he thinks he doesn't care about.
Well, he doesn't care.
The second he sees her, really, he's like, "Fuck, I'm in this again. I'm with a child, a little girl, the same age as my daughter.
I'm not doing this.
That I am now in custody of." And I feel like immediately it's kind of like he does care about her. He doesn't show it because he doesn't really believe it, but he feels it, and he's like, "Fuck again." Yeah. I don't know if I could do this.
Yeah.
But in that moment, he switches into dad. He's like, beats that guy up.
Yeah, honestly.
He's knocking him down, and you can see how angry he is. He's like, I need to protect this girl with my life.
Yeah.
But then Ellie looks over, and she's kind of like, okay, this guy's here to protect
me. This guy
me.
is gonna save me from shit.
If one person's gonna keep me safe, it's this guy.
Him, which is why she kind of latches onto him originally. Mm-hmm. Anyway, this is going to be the longest podcast ever, so we've got to speed this along.
That's true.
Episode 2.
Yes.
One thing, we've watched each episode week to week as they came out, and one thing that as the episode was running, we were watching on a big screen with some mates. That's a different. That doesn't matter. Yeah. We both made eye contact. We were sat next to each other when we were watching this episode. Yeah, on the beanbags. And the shot came up when they leave the tiny room with the moss and all that. And Ellie looks and sees the skyscrapers toppling and all that.
Sees the city.
And I just look at you, and you look at me, and I think we both think the exact same thing about, like, this is just how it looks in the game. Like, how did they do it so well? Like, a ruined city in episode 2. So it was just so jaw-dropping to see that, and and then when they were on the bridge, they called to, so there aren't any giant infecteds that throw spores, and then Tess is like, fucking hell, I hope not, or whatever she says.
And she's like, well, I hope not.
Maybe
they even mentioned spores, so they must exist somewhere.
Yeah.
Just maybe not within the infected that we've seen so far.
No. Who knows? But so episode 2 was also great.
It was kind of world building.
It was
kind of establishing what infected are out there with the clicker scene. The clicker scene was so good.
It really was. They did run a tiny bit weird, but I suppose it makes sense, doesn't it? Like, I thought they would like twitch more rather than be just all floppy armed. Do you know what I mean? That's the only thing, but they still looked great.
Twitch. I felt like they were the same as in the game.
Yeah, I suppose it was. I think it was when they were running that felt a bit weird. But still great. Still, the makeup was fucking gorgeous. Oh God, when we first saw the giant mushroom head, we were like, oh no! It was when we heard the clicking originally. We were like, oh.
I was like, that's a really good sound design. This is great.
Didn't they hire the original clicker voice actor to do something?
Thought, but it wasn't. It was fans of the game.
No, but didn't they hire him to do? Didn't they hire? No. It was the clicker body double that did the game.
It was fans.
Was it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I didn't mean the sound. I meant like the actual movement.
Yeah, the movement and the voice effects.
They actually got fans.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
Yeah, I thought it was the body double as well. But then crazy. I saw the behind the scenes of the episode.
Oh.
And they just had some fans to do it. They were really good. Well, let's be fair. If you're a fan of The Last of Us and you get asked to do that, you're putting everything
gonna do your research. Otherwise, you don't want to fuck this up.
I'm gonna do the best
job of a lifetime.
You've ever seen.
Yeah. I mean, imagine being one of the first clickers in the whole show. Imagine getting that on your resume. That'd be pretty sick.
Imagine watching The Last of Us being like, that's me.
That was me.
That'd be fucking that's me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was cool. There was a good jump scare in that scene as well. And I like the idea that Ellie got bit again, because that didn't happen in the game.
Yeah.
Because it shows that she got bit at the same time as Tess to further prove the point that Tess's wound is festered. Ellie's has nothing on there just besides the mark, which shows by the end of the episode that this is actually, she's not bullshitting.
Yeah.
So, this
is a real thing.
I also loved the adaptation of the shot where it's like, you can't deny that view though.
Oh,
where they're on the rooftop, yeah, and they're walking across the plank and all that. I liked that a lot. I just, it's so many little moments, too many moments to mention on the podcast that just give me goosebumps. Like, that was from the game. Like, it's just, you know what I mean? It's just it was just nice to see that they bothered to slip those moments in there, even if they don't really service the story very much in the show. They still did it
like
because
to see it and be like, that's the bit. That's the bit. I did that. I remember seeing that.
Yeah. Now, I would love to talk about episode 3 for the rest of the podcast.
Me too.
But we've got to zip through it because it doesn't progress the season as much as the rest of them. So well, actually no. Favourite moment from episode 2, go. Probably the clickers for me. Or the Tess dying bit. That one was wicked. That was grim.
That was disgusting.
That was very disgusting.
Really good.
Oh, it was good. It got a reaction out of us. Well done, but look, don't do that again. That shit was nasty. Okay?
And also really cool.
Yeah.
And made me realise.
Also, the way that the infected work in this version is actually really cool. How there's like a hive mind. That wasn't entirely clear whether there was in the game.
Yeah.
But in the show, there's a very clear
if you step on this patch, it will awake them.
Which feels like a bit of a sort of like Vecna type of deal at the same time. Mean, yeah. But it's still, I still like their idea because that would have opened up a lot of gameplay opportunities in the game that they didn't go for.
I think it's going to come.
Maybe in the third, maybe in the third game they'll add tendrils.
Yeah, maybe.
If they don't, then they.
I mean, Ashley Johnson, who played Ellie, said that one thing she wished they would do for if they did another game was to include tendrils and like the whole hive mind thing.
Because that would be a really cool gameplay. Like that would really add some suspense. Because if you like a parkour like sort of section in the game where you have to literally balance over tendrils, otherwise if you step on them then the clicker nearby will jump on you.
And it adds a lot to like the terror, because like the moments where you have to like spam square to get them off you and they're like on you, and you'd see the things coming out towards your face as well. Oh, you'd have to like really push them off.
I think the thing is I think that would be cool, like adding another variant of the infected in the third game, which are literally just tendril ridden infected. That'd be like, come on game, if you're not doing that then you're ruining the idea
if they wanted to like spend some time in characters across the world, so we've only done America. We've not seen the effect in the game across the world. Different places in the world, different climates could have different types of infection spreading.
They go to another country and they realise that
I want to see what the infection is like in China. How condensed and populated it is. How many infected there would be.
That would be cool, to be fair. But anyway, episode 3 was a emotional mess of an episode, and so were we. We were an emotional mess.
That's the one I've rewatched the most times.
Really?
Yeah.
For me, I think it was episode 8, because you know how much that was. No, it was episode 8.
Frank.
Yeah.
No, not Frank. David.
Yeah, David.
Yeah.
That one was probably my favourite, but we'll get to that. Yes. we will get to that. That's probably still my favourite, but episode 3 was mad. I'm very glad that they expanded Bill. I've heard people moan that they didn't
do the whole like traps and everything.
The what? Sorry.
The traps and everything for the Bill section.
Yeah, well, no, I wasn't so upset about that. I think the one criticism I have is that they, not that they killed him off, because I think it really did end the story really beautifully. But what it did do, unfortunately, is something that I've seen a criticism on the season about is every week you get to know a character and then they die at the end of it. Like Tess in episode 2, Bill and Frank in episode 3. Then what was it? It was Bill. No, it was
episode 4.
Episode 4.
We met
Sam and
Henry.
And then they died in episode 5, technically. And then episode 6 you meet... I suppose it stops in episode 6, doesn't it? But then in episode 7 you meet Riley and then she dies. Yeah. So I suppose it's a sort of hit and miss. Sometimes that happens.
I mean, it just kind of... I think it's a good thing, though. Because I think it shows, like, even if you meet these people...
Yeah, I guess that people felt like that could get too repetitive. And I feel like it definitely was riding that line a lot of the time. Every single week, like, you don't want to get attached to a character because you know that by the end of the episode they'll...
But I feel like that's realistic. Like, in that world, you don't want to get attached to people.
No, I realise that. But I do see what they mean, though, because it is like, there's no point getting to know this person because they're just going to kill them off again. So I do get both sides, but I do understand that you want it to be realistic as well, though. But... Yeah, but in service of the story, killing off Frank leads to one of the most heartbreakingly beautiful endings to any episode of TV, really.
Yeah.
It's not my favourite episode personally, but looking at it from the objective perspective, it is such a well-made piece of television.
Yeah.
Episode 3 is.
It kind of, it stuck.
You know what really broke my heart is at the very end, there was a bit where, in the radio, when they're leaving the car, the song plays that they play on the piano, and it was like Frank's favourite song, wasn't it? Was that what it was? Song. Bill's favourite song, yeah. And that bit broke my heart a bit because like, oh god, that's the bit that tugged at my heartstrings because I was fine up until then. I was holding in the tears, and then that bit happened. I'm like, oh god, why did you have to take us back to the piano moment?
Yeah.
Because that's what that did, really. Yeah. God, what a good moment though.
It was really.
That was my favourite moment. Well, not favourite. I hated it. It made me sad. But no, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It was a good moment. And you know what was really sick is just that like when Bill thought he was dying, he said to Frank, "Contact Joel. He'll keep you safe."
Because
even though like
he didn't trust him at all.
Bill didn't trust Joel personally. He knew that
Frank did, and he could keep him safe.
Yeah. Which is just shows a lot about what Bill was as a person. Even though he didn't trust anyone, he still understood.
And what's best for Frank. Always.
Yeah, exactly.
Wanted to be safe. And the line that he says to Frank, he's like, I was never scared until I met you.
Yeah. I was like, oh, so sad.
Because he's like, he just didn't care. He was just loving living by himself, having all the luxuries. And then as soon as Frank shows up, he's like, shit, I've got something to like live for now.
Yeah.
And I've got something to care about and protect.
Yeah.
Oh.
Also, the stuff at the start with Joel and Ellie was quite cool.
Yeah. I like the way they transitioned to the past.
That was a really clever thing. You know what I would have liked that should have gone throughout the whole season is in each episode you have a little tiny little... No, it doesn't have to necessarily be an opening.
Right.
Just like a little snippet. The opening would be cool, like a pre-titles thing, which is what the first 2 episodes do.
Yeah.
Where it kind of just gives us a hypothetical of like, oh... What if Cordyceps happened is what episode 1's opening is. And then episode 2 is like, oh, Cordyceps is happening. Uh-oh. What a good... Episode 2's cold open is one of my favourite scenes in the whole show.
Oh, it absolutely...
Because of the actress. Good. I don't know what her fucking name is.
I think episode 1's one is my favourite.
Really? Yeah. I liked it as well, but episode 2 just feels so fucking real. It feels frighteningly real, episode 2's opening.
Bomb the city with everything.
Yeah, that's the bit I'm like, oh my god, that was... Yeah. That bit really had me. It felt like a different show, that opening of episode 2. That's how mad that felt to me. It was so well done. And I would have liked if you had a few more... Like, in every episode you have one... Not necessarily a cold opening even, just like a little scene in context with the rest of the episode somehow.
Yeah.
Just have like a pre-outbreak thing that kind of adds context to... Can just be someone's backstory from pre-apocalypse if you like. Just I want to see more perspectives of... pre-outbreak
from around the world.
Yeah, just how it's affected them. Like that would have been really cool.
Yeah.
But sadly, we didn't really get that.
And there wasn't that much time for it, to be fair.
No, I mean there was time in the finale.
Yeah, there was time for about 3 of them in the finale, but we won't talk about that.
That's like my only other criticism of the finale. It's just too short. To be honest.
I felt like it didn't feel too short, but I wanted it to be longer.
I wanted it to be longer
just because I wanted more of it.
I wanted more.
It's not like it felt like, oh, it's way too short. They rushed it all.
No, they didn't rush anything.
It was just like, I just want it to be longer.
I wanted that. I wanted them to add more stuff. Really. Yeah, that's all it was. How far in are we? Oh my god, we're at nearly half an hour.
Jesus Christ.
We're only at episode 3.
I swear we've been talking for 10 minutes.
Yeah. So, favourite moment from episode 3 for you?
Probably when they were sat there. Actually, it's either the piano moment. The end bit where they're in the he prepares dinner for him the same way he did when they first met.
Oh yeah, that was really sad.
And
yeah, that's true.
But also the bit where he's telling him like how he wants his last day to be when he's sat on the sofa. Bill's just sobbing his eyes out.
Yeah, that bit. No, that's my most hated moment in the whole episode. That bit really hit me.
It was so sad.
But yeah,
he was like, I want us to do this. We'll go do this.
And
we'll
Bill is just fucking ripping himself
Bill's
apart.
just like, I can't do this. I can't do this.
Yeah.
And he's like, we're going to get married. We're going to go and do this. We're going to go put on some nice clothes. I'm going to pick your outfit no matter what you want.
That's it.
Yeah.
Alright, yeah. Depressing. We're going to go on a commercial breakdown, then we'll come back. Strap in. This episode, this is going to be one of the longest podcasts we've ever done.
Yes.
Longer than Unis Honest, most probably. So we'll see you after this first of probably many commercial breaks.
Yes, that'll be a good few.
And we'll join you back for an Amazon review of the week, and then episode 4, etc.
Nice.
Xander.
do realise that's my stuff you're stealing right now. Xander, I can still see you. You realise, Xander, there's no amount of hiding. You, I can see your hat. I can see you moving down there.
Hello, and welcome back from that commercial break.
Yes.
Hope you enjoyed it. We haven't filmed it yet, but I hope you enjoyed that advert. Yes. Whatever, it might not even be an advert, it might just be a skit that we decide to make. Yeah. Who knows? We've got a few ideas. Anyway, so today's Amazon review is titled "Encounterments." It's a horse mask review. That's what it is. All right. It's written by John Neal. Written 2011, July 21st. Okay, I'm gonna read it out now. When I turned state's witness, they didn't have enough money to put me in the witness protection program, so they bought me this mask and gave me a list of suggested places to move to. Since then, I've lived my life in peace and safety, knowing that my old identity is forever obscured by this life-saving item. Wow. I hope it's a horse mask.
Yeah, I hope he's doing alright.
Yeah, me too.
There's just someone with a horse mask out there just living. Can't take it off.
I'm glad that was a short review because we've got to get straight back in because otherwise this podcast's going to go on forever. Episode 4. What one was that one? Oh yeah, they get into Kansas. Is that where that? Yes. No, there was Kansas in the game.
It was Kansas City.
What was it in the game then? It was.
Was it not also Kansas City?
No. It was a different city in the game. It was Boston. No, it wasn't Boston. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Anyway, they're in Kansas. Eventually. Wait, no. Before Kansas, there's the joke book comes in this episode, and
like
also
they're making their way there. Yeah.
You know, one of the best moments of this episode before I forget it is the bit where he's like, "It's gonna be a long drive. You may as well get some sleep." Dude, I'm not even tired.
I'm not even tired. It cuts.
So that's just. Yeah, I love that. That's probably my favourite bit of the episode.
Damn. That's really good.
To be honest, actually no, it's not. I just remembered the final bit. Mm-hmm. It runs in your jeans. And then they just laugh. It's such a fucking cute moment. That bit really just warmed my heart when they're laying there and all that. And I love the realism of the fact that they talk in this episode about, I noticed you can't hear very well in your right ear, and why is that? Did someone shoot you near there? No, I shoot next to that ear, so I've just naturally gone a bit deaf in that ear.
No, it's because someone shot and missed.
No. It's
the scar.
The explanation. No. That's the scar. But she was talking about he's hard of hearing.
Was that not also the same thing?
No. He was talking about how, realistically, he didn't wear earplugs, which is why he went slowly deaf in one ear. Yeah. Which is so realistic because that would happen in an apocalypse. You can't find earplugs. Yeah. Like you're just gonna start shooting, and you're not gonna be, careful about it. You're just gonna shoot whatever's attacking you. Yeah. Right, so that's more realistic, and I like how realistic that is.
And also, I like that he fell asleep on that ear, and so that's why he didn't hear Sam and Henry come in.
Exactly, but yeah, obviously the whole someone shot and missed, it comes back in the finale, which we'll get to as well, which is a great moment, but we'll save when we talk about that episode. But yeah, episode 4 is probably my least favourite of the season, not because it's bad, but more because it feels like it's just setting up episode 5 mostly.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Because it's a lot of like, they're talking about this Henry character that we don't know. But this is an amazing episode for like
world building
Ellie and Joel's relationship as well. Because Ellie shoots the kid, and then later Joel for the first time tries to comfort her kind of badly, but is like, "Are you okay?" Because that was a fucked up thing that just happened in front of you.
Yeah.
Right. So. That's like the seeds being sown, and also like they say the joke book and all of that. It shows basically this episode is the turning point to where we're starting to get to see the Joel and Ellie that everyone fell in love with in the game. Yeah. In this episode, so this is a lot of people love this one probably, but it's my least favourite just because it doesn't cover
episode.
Too many. No, it's not anyone's favourite Last of Us episode. It's kind of my thing with it because it is just a stepping stone. But it's one of the funniest ones.
Yeah, it shows a lot of like character growth individually and together.
Yeah. What do you think of the villain that we have for those 2 episodes? What's her name?
Kathleen.
That's it. What do you think of her?
At first, I was like, I do not like her.
Mm.
And then I realised, wait, but this is just like... They're doing this because everyone always is going to obviously criticise her and be like, oh, I hate this woman.
Mm.
But then there's so many parallels with her and the second game, which we will get to later. But like, her and Ellie.
Oh, I
so
see.
Someone, and then they just want revenge no matter what.
Right, yeah, got you, yeah. That's pretty cool. That's cool, like, sort of like foreshadowing.
Then when everyone's hating on her, they're like, well,
you're
going to defend next season.
You're not so you didn't defend Kath, whatever her name
Kathleen.
is. Kathleen.
Yeah.
Also, the actor of Tommy shows up for a cameo in this.
Yeah.
These two episodes. Cool. I liked that. I like they did that. They did that they did that with Joel.
And Ellie.
They did that with Troy Baker was in episode 8.
And a reasonably important character. They weren't a main character, but they had
dialogue. If like for example, if Troy Baker had a bigger role, it would be noticeable because you'd just hear Troy. Yeah. Well, not Troy. You'd hear Joel in every scene that he's in. Whereas the role he played in episode 8 was perfect, and same with Ashley because her voice is very noticeable.
It was so
like we're skipping ahead a bit, but the bit that she's in episode 9, I just heard Ellie. Yeah. If I closed my eyes, it would just be Ellie grunting or shouting or whatever. That's all I heard. You know, I couldn't. There's no way to avoid that personally. So
it was nice hearing new things being said.
Because we've got to wait till 2026 for part 3. So it was a nice fix, wasn't it?
it was enough to tide me over till then.
Yeah.
I need to become friends with Ashley Johnson. Just to say, can you just say like these words, please?
Just so I can hear Ellie say new things. Yeah.
Imagine being friends with them. Writing your own scene and being like, hey, can you guys do this scene, please?
Yeah. Why? You're going to make profit out of it? No, I just want to hear that.
No, I just want to hear it. I just want to play it to myself to sleep. I want to lean Charles tell me a bedtime story.
Yeah. Episode 4 was solid. Episode 4 was... I mean, every episode... Let's just say this real quick. We're going to say what our favourite or least favourite is of the season, but there's not a bad episode.
There's no bad episode. Absolutely not.
I think that, like, the lowest it ranks is, like, maybe, like... a 6.5 out of 10, which is still like way above average.
Damn. Because average still put the bottom at like an 8.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
There's nothing I disliked about
maybe
it.
Even a 7.
There was just like stuff that I was like, I wish there was more, but like I'm happy with what I got.
That's fair, honestly. Episode 4 was solid. Any favourite moments from you? Any favourite moments from you that I haven't said already?
I liked when.
Yeah.
Oh, I like the bit where with the shootout bit.
Oh yes.
When they first get ambushed and stuff. And he's like, "Are you gonna help him?" And he's like, "No."
No. Yeah. I would have liked it. It's a subtle nitpick, but it's like he ain't even hurt. I would have liked that line, but that's just a fucking nitpick, if anything. Yeah. I don't really care. It's Pedro's portrayal, so I'm not gonna rat on him for wanting to create a new spin on it. Yeah, crucify him. Honestly, so don't do that.
Yeah.
Right, episode 5. Brilliant. Absolutely one of the best ones, actually, of the season. Yeah. It is everything I was looking for in a not zombie show. Just because in episode 4 it was like, wait, this is a big city. Where are all the fucking not zombies? Where the fuck are they? I don't see them anywhere. And then the final bit, episode 5, where they all just come fucking swamping out of there.
They are.
Yeah, they're all there. The acrobatic fucking child one. That one creeped me out. That one creeped me out. That one really creeped me out.
I wanted to see child infection.
Also seeing the big one, not necessarily a bloater. Don't know whether it is or not. Shambler, bloater, something in between.
Somewhere in the middle.
Who knows? But good to see it. I love seeing more variants of the infected because yes, thank you. That scene was amazing because it was so suspenseful because you saw the truck fall and then suddenly.
And you think there's going to be a lot, but it was like an army.
And it was like a jump scare. They somehow managed to jump scare loads of bodies just jumping out of the
quiet.
hole.
Like a really low, like floor level angle of them all climbing over you. You feel like submerged and like you have to like climb.
They had a similar shot in episode 2 of that as well when the tendrils started moving about when Tess was infected.
And it was low and they all started running past.
Obviously that wasn't in the same location as where they were, but it was still really well done because it looked really scary because they were running so fast in the direction of assumedly where Joel and the rest of them are. But obviously the moment that's most heartbreaking is Sam and Henry biting the bucket.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
That really was...
An interesting change that I don't really hate is Ellie trying... Well, first of all, Sam telling Ellie that he's bit, because I don't think that happens in the game, does it? No. I think and her trying to rub her blood on it, which is a really fucking stupid thing to do. But at the end of the day, she's a kid, and she wants to help her friend in any way that she can. She knows that she's immune, so she's like, in her brain, she's like, well, what's the worst that could happen? I lose a tiny bit of blood, and he gets a fucking blood infection, but he's already infected, so who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Well, best case, this works. Worst case, he's gone anyway.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a nice childish, like, naivety.
Like such innocence that she thought that would work.
Yeah,
or at least hoped it would work.
Yeah, and I think that moment's great. Some people criticised it, but I think, leave him alone. It's a good moment. I like that they added that in.
Yeah, I agree.
But also, I saw this online. I'm not sure if you mentioned it to me as well, but it was a really heartbreaking moment, but also interesting, the attention to detail that Ellie woke up the next morning and Sam's infected person didn't notice Ellie was there until he saw her, because Sam in the show is deaf.
Yeah.
Whereas he wasn't. So the infected also, by default, probably would have imperfect ears.
Yeah.
Which is such a good attention to detail,
you know? Good.
So I'm glad that they put attention into that, because they could have just made him a mindless bloody...
It's so much more sad though, because obviously he knew he was turning, so he's obviously constantly gone, I need to face away from her so I don't hear her, and I won't attack her. So he just sat looking out the window for his final minutes alive, and he turns and he can't hear anything.
Another thing that the show has against the game that's better is when Henry shoots himself. In the game, boom, cuts to black. Yeah. Oh God, or whatever Ellie says. In the show, you hear that really genuine sounding just groan that Bella Ramsey does, really, where it's like, it's that sort of, you know what I'm on about.
Yeah.
And you linger on her face for an uncomfortably long time, just seeing her watch Henry fall to the floor or whatever from her perspective. That best decision, in my opinion. First of all, Bella Ramsey. Anyone who had anything against her can shut the fuck up at this point. Not just for episode 8, because I was sold on her by episode 8 pretty much. I loved this moment here, but it was episode 8 where I'm like, stop saying that she's not Ellie. She is 100% killed it. Go away. But this moment is another great moment from her as Ellie, because it was just such a very genuine moment. That felt frighteningly real. Yeah. Her reaction.
Her reaction was almost as bad as what actually happened. Yeah, it was so realistic.
Her face, and like it was just the groan. It was just the hum that she did.
It felt like it was a genuine
as the gunshot happened as well. She went, it's that, you know what I mean. I can't really describe it. It was just so creepily realistic how well it was done. Well done, Bella Ramsey. Yeah. Honestly, Jesus.
You're definitely watching this.
Yeah,
so, good
She's
job
my
to you.
Fan.
Your first subscriber, actually.
But my fucking God, it's just, and also like I said, the decision to linger on her face rather than just cut to black like in the game.
I'm so glad they didn't cut to black.
Decision, because the cut to black felt a bit like, suddenly now it's fall or whatever.
Yeah.
That was such a dumb decision in the game. That's one thing. Like, you should have had the moment, like I say, the bit of the grave, just a subtle thing. What did she put on the clipboard? I'm sorry. Yeah.
Well, it's either people are saying, did she write that on there and put it there for him, saying that he's sorry
couldn't help, or did he write it? I think it's better that we don't know who wrote it, because you can interpret it either way, you know. Yeah. God damn, it's beautifully done. It's horrifying, but it's so good.
Horrible, but I love it because it was so well done.
But then also, episode 5 is not just great for those final moments. It's also great because you see what happens from Sam and Henry's perspective before, where you see the gunfight happen. Yeah, and you see that stuff, and then you see the lead up to them talking to them and being like, can we work together? And also seeing them be like, there's infected down below, so we'll have to be careful. And then you don't see them.
Yeah.
And you're like, really? This is a zombie show of no zombies, huh? But then obviously at the end, you see all the infected go blah, at the end. It's just so well done.
Yeah.
I think that's all I have to say for episode 5, but my God, that was good. No, the sniper moment. Another great moment, better than the game.
Yeah.
At least on a character level, because in the game, it's a random soldier, right? Yeah. In the show, it's a lonely old man who has nothing better to do. Yeah. But he just wants... So he wants to give someone an excuse to end his life because he can't do it himself. That's the way I interpreted that scene.
Yeah. I mean, he was also working with Kathleen there.
Was he?
Yeah.
I thought he was alone.
No, because he had the radio on the floor and she was like, we're on our way, we're almost there.
Oh, I still think that's kind of tragic.
I feel like it still applies.
Because of the moment where he goes, he's a bad shot anyway.
Yeah.
Just kind of adds to the heartbreak of this old man.
But was he trying to kill them or was he trying to keep them there? For Kathleen to arrive.
But regardless, it's just a nice change.
He was just an old guy just in that building.
And obviously, before the episode started, I was saying how to our gang that we were watching it with, like, if we don't see the sniper scene, I'm going to be very upset.
Yeah.
And then when we saw that row of cars there, and then we saw the gunshot, you were like, you happy yet? But that was great. I liked that a lot. I think that's it for episode 5. God, I feel like I'm missing stuff because episode 5 had so much.
It did have a lot.
But
I mean,
we have to move on. We have to move on because otherwise we're going to run out of time. Episode 6. What was episode 6 again? Tommy. Tommy comes back.
In episode 6?
Yeah. What was it? There's an alarm going on. Episode 6 was Tommy coming back, wasn't it?
It's a siren.
Oh my god, who died?
It's either an ambulance or a fire truck.
Who knows? It's rough here in Cardiff.
That's what we deal with here.
We're in the rough ends.
Out of the roof.
What was episode 6? Episode 6 was when they reunited with Tommy, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Because episode 7 was... No, it wasn't. What was it?
7 was reunited with Tommy. 6 was reunited with Tommy.
No. 6 was Tommy. 7 was Riley.
7 was Riley.
8 was David. Yeah, we got it, yeah. Episode 6. Really, really good. I like another thing that the show does better than the game, actually. The more I think about it, the more I do like the show more than the game. And I don't want to admit that. But anyway, I love that we got to see Jackson.
Yeah, Jackson looks so good.
It does.
It looks perfect.
Also, the part 2 baiting was so fucking rough. Like, you saw literally saw fucking Dana just looking at Ellie. Dana. I call her Dana, I don't care.
Every time. Even when we're playing part 2, I would be like, Dina. He'd be like, look, it's Dana. She just said it. The subtitles.
At this point, I'm just saying it to piss him off. Dana. I can't wait for that snowball fight in part 2 with Ellie and
Dana.
And
then they go and kill all the zombies.
Yeah, all the zombies, yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait. I love it.
I also can't wait for Batman to show up and fuck them all up.
Hello?
Sorry, spoiler. I forgot you hadn't got onto that bit.
Yeah, I'm not on that bit yet. Sorry. Jesus.
But yeah, did we see a young Jesse?
No. People saw
another fun fact for you. In the last few months, we've been playing through part 2 on his PlayStation with the gang, and they've quickly taken the piss out of me for liking Jesse so much.
Well, we know why.
And I'm not looking forward to his demise in season 2, or it might be season 3.
I reckon it'll be season 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we'll talk about predictions in a bit, but yeah, let's just get through season 1 because we're talking way too long about this. But episode 6 was great. What do you think of Tommy's acting now that we're episode 6 and we see a bit more of him?
Perfect. He was so good.
He was pretty good.
He was so good. Like, the voice is perfect.
Yeah. One moment, this show has so much more against the game now that I think about it. Like, it's a different medium, so I can't really compare them, but at the same time, you got them.
I mean, you're going to,
the bit where Joel is fucking breaking down and crying, like, I can't deal with this.
Yeah.
You have to take her, otherwise...
Because I can't protect her. I'm not strong enough.
Yeah. Whereas in the game, it's more of a case of I don't want to get attached.
Yeah.
Whereas in the show, he's already attached.
He's fully attached.
He just doesn't want to lose her.
Doesn't believe that he can safely transport her.
Easily my favourite moment is the bit... It's probably my favourite moment in both games, is just everyone I've ever cared for has died or left me.
Both games? Do you mean the show and the game?
Everything in Last of Us, my favourite scene.
Damn.
At least in the game, my favourite moment ever is everyone I ever cared for has either died or left me.
And she nailed it.
She really did,
She nailed it.
She really did, like... yeah. God damn. What a great fucking scene.
The only thing that
I liked the fact that she didn't fucking run away on a horse for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
Because that was so dumb in the game. It was just a stupid reason to give them more combat, to break up the cutscenes in the game. Yeah. That's all that was for, let's be fair. It was such a stupid decision and it made Ellie look like a fucking idiot in the game. So I'm glad they just skipped that bit and just went straight for the bit in the room where she goes, oh, is that really all girls had to care about? Like fucking dresses and boys?
Yeah.
Then I'm like, good, we're straight at this scene, there's no fucking about.
Yeah.
And I love how the next day Joel's like, it's not fair for me to just...
I'll give you a choice.
Decision.
And she's like, let's go.
I'll give you a choice. Alright, cool, here's my bag, let's go.
Take it. Let's go.
I love that bit.
I also like the conflict with Joel and and
you'll get it. Don't worry, I can see the cogs in your head just fucking...
What's her name?
Who?
Tommy's wife.
Oh,
Maria.
Yeah, there you go.
And Sarah's like his daughter. Maria, their conflict is nice.
I like how we get to see her break the news about Sarah to Ellie, rather than it just happening behind the scenes in the game.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I like that scene a lot. Because
it's quite good.
As much as Maria was kind of annoying, she was like doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Just didn't want to like
also,
spoil the time.
A really cool moment, show only moment, is at the start of the episode when that couple is in the cabin and they're like, there are human fireflies. I'm just that's a nice.
The fireflies. Oh, we get them around the summer.
Yeah.
Like, no, the people ones. There are people fireflies.
New variant of infected.
Firefly people. It's like, no, listen.
I love that.
They were really cool.
That was great. But
I'm a little bit upset we didn't get the rabbit scene.
Well, we kind of did in episode 8.
Well, because it ran off.
Well, we'll get to episode 8, alright?
Yeah.
Like, in episode 6, they carried a dead one, so you kind of get both.
Yeah.
But anyway, episode 6 is great. Another amazing one. When it first came out, I thought it was my favourite, but after recency bias, 5 still beats it in terms of the...
5? Do you mean 8?
Well, no, I mean in terms of recency. Like, we've not got to episode 8 yet. So far.
Oh.
Episode 6, when it first came out, was my... Because when it first came out, every episode got better than the last one, which is what it was for a little while, and then episode 6...
Except
wasn't
3 to 4.
as good as episode 5.
3 to 4 wasn't better.
No, 4 wasn't better than 3.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? At the time, I thought so.
Yeah,
because you know,
you
the show's great.
Like, it's amazing.
Just because it is.
Yeah.
Let's be fair. Every episode is great. But anyway, what's your favourite moment in episode 6? I think I mentioned mine.
Seeing Jackson was one of the best. Seeing Dina, because I am obsessed with Dina.
Dina's a great character.
She's one of my favourite characters.
She is really great.
I just adore her. And the things that I won't talk about that happen at the end of the second game.
We'll talk about it when we get past the season 1 stuff, and we'll put a spoiler thing when we get to that stuff.
Yeah, so no context, but I get frustrated at things.
Anyway.
But I love Dina, so that was great. I was constantly looking out for anyone that could resemble Jessie, and there was
me too.
I think they purposely put no Asian children in there, so no one could go, it's Jessie.
Because that would just be racist to do that, let's be fair.
But like, obviously people would do that, and they didn't want them just thinking anyone was Jessie.
No.
They would, like, obviously random people are going to be like, oh, I bet that's him, because that's an Asian person. It's like, no, come on.
Shut up. Yeah.
But they there was no one that was Jessie, obviously.
Great episode.
But it was
to be honest, I think people are moaning about episode 6 not being very exciting action-wise, but it's like...
Exciting.
But not action-wise. Like no gunfights, no
it
this and that.
But
it's like it doesn't need
action.
it. Just like every episode doesn't need to have an infected. You can go a few episodes without it. It's not about zombies. It's not a show about zombies. It just has. That's the backdrop. The apocalypse is the backdrop for the story. Without the apocalypse, you couldn't be traveling across the country.
The apocalypse is just the reason the characters act the way they do, and we're just watching them act.
It's a character drama. It really is just a character drama
set in an apocalypse.
But yeah, and also the final moment is great where he falls off the horse.
Oh, that bit was so good because I 100%.
Oh, one thing the game
he died.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But then that's gonna ruin if people if they hadn't seen the game and they Google Joel dies Last of Us and then it's gonna go.
Oh, and they realise wait, there wasn't a golf club and there's like oh yeah.
Wait a second.
When did Joel play golf in episode 6? That's a great moment. One thing that I think the game does a tiny bit better is just how dramatic the moment is where he gets impaled.
Oh, it was
just because in the show it was a tiny bit like what? All right, I guess. You know what I mean? But I guess maybe they didn't have the budget or something. I'll forgive him for it, but
or he falls down onto the thing.
Yeah, on the rebar.
I feel like that isn't realistic though because at this point he's like a 56-year-old man.
I didn't want that like adapted verbatim, but I would have liked it a bit more than just looks down. Oh, there's something stuck in him. I feel that's a tiny bit just. Not as exciting. I would have liked a bit more drama.
Maybe if there was a tree branch that stuck out and they like knocked him against it and it like stabbed into his back or something.
Yeah. I would have liked a bit more like foreshadowing to it, like because in the game it's like he's fighting and then you see the rebar down there before he falls onto it. A bit more tension there before it happens.
Yeah.
I would like the scene to play out a bit nicer rather than just a random fucking thing stuck in him. I would have just liked to see a little bit more. There. Yeah. That's my only minor gripe with the episode. Is just
it didn't really bother me, but I feel like it also
just because that's one of my favourite points in the game.
Yeah.
Because it was like, oh, that's how he gets back. Because I was looking out for it. Because obviously we played the game. And it was like, oh, is that how it happens? I felt a tiny bit let down, basically. Right. But that's like, it's a minor thing.
That was just a stab wound. So
yeah.
It's not that bigger thing.
No. But like I say, it is more realistic, but I would have liked the realism to come into play in a more dramatic way, you know? Like,
but be dramatic too.
Still, we've still got the great moment where he falls off the horse, so I'm still happy.
And Bella in that scene was so good.
Oh, yes, she was.
When she was really like, please get up. Oh, and also, foreshadowing the second game, when she was like, Joel, please get up.
Joel, fucking get up!
Yeah, it was a lot.
Please stop! Yeah, honestly.
That scene sold me that scene, when it comes, is going to be so heartbreaking.
Yeah. It wasn't that for me, but there's a scene in episode 8 that sold that scene.
But I just mean the way she said those lines she's going to nail those lines.
She's going to act out some serious trauma for season 2. But no, episode 7...
I need to catch a break for it.
Episode 7... Okay, so I never physically cried from the show until episode 7. The closest I got to crying in The Last of Us was episode 3.
Yeah.
But Sam and Henry, I was close to. I was feeling it, but I wasn't there.
Yeah.
But episode 3 was the closest. Sam and Henry were like, oh, God, that was fucking horrid. But I was still able to keep my composure. Episode 7... that's the first one where I actually broke a tear. I broke tears watching this episode.
I can't really. I cried episode 1 when I saw
Sarah. Sarah nearly got me too, to be fair, but it was too early in the
start
show.
Of episode 1, where I saw the title card. And that's the music. I was like, this is amazing.
What a good title card! Oh my god, look at the
I think I had tears in my eyes for
the whole of it.
The whole series. The whole season. Season 1, every point of every episode, I at least had tears in my eyes, just because I was so happy to see it.
Yeah, I mean...
And then the sad point hit and it just... Boom. Any sad moment, I cried.
But yeah, episode 7, the bit where I think the line... What's the actress's name who plays Riley? I don't know her name, but I should. Because her line delivery for let's just wait it out and lose our minds. For some reason, that line delivery is so fucking well done.
Yeah.
I didn't... Well, I mean, in the game it's played pretty...
Stormy Raid.
Right, yeah. In the game it's played pretty straight. It's played pretty verbatim, just normal. But in the game, there was so much emotion behind that line delivery that I was not ready for, because in the game I was already pretty it was a pretty tragic moment that did kind of get me. It didn't make me cry or anything, but it was still pretty sad. It was like, we'll just wait it out and lose our minds together. It's like, cool. That's a really sad moment. But in the show, that hit me really hard.
Yeah.
And there is nothing I can moan about episode 7 for. The only thing there's actually 2, but I don't think it hurts the episode.
Yeah.
It's just in the game, I liked the fact that it cut from Ellie in the present in a shopping mall looking for supplies, because it mirrors her.
She was in a shopping mall. She was in the house.
No, she was. No, that's in the show. In the game, she was in a shopping mall looking for supplies for Joel, and that mirrors her also being a shopping mall in the past with Riley, which is what reminds her of her. Which is why I kind of preferred that that version in the game for that.
I get that, yeah.
And the other thing, I know it doesn't mean anything, but I would have liked the water pistol fight. But... Yeah. Or maybe just a reference to it. They pick up the water pistols and squirt each other once.
Yeah.
And then call it a day. I would have liked something like that.
Yeah.
Nothing more than that. Just a little bit. Just a little bit of a...
Or if they picked up Wednesday but it was empty. They're like,
that would have been fine. I'd have been okay with that, because at least they acknowledged that was a fun thing in the game. Because that's one of my favourite moments in the whole game.
Yeah.
One of the most fun levels in the game.
They kind of at least acknowledged it or hinted something towards it.
But everything else is done brilliantly. Yeah. I liked...
Way better than the game, I think.
No, not for me, but the fact that it's just a solid block of flashback works. But I obviously prefer the formula of cutting from present to past. Right. It just feels more fluent to me. But I get that they wanted to just have Ellie at the start looking to leave Joel, and then Ellie at the end remembering Riley and going back down the stairs straight away to Joel to patch him up. I liked how they did it in there. They both work really well, but they're both formed very differently.
Yeah.
But I do like they added more. You saw Fedra School in the show, which you don't in the game. You just hear about it, you know?
Yeah.
You actually see the bullying, and then you see her sneaking out later, which we saw in the game, obviously. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But the adaptation of it was all great. Both actresses were so fucking well, so good.
Yeah.
They were both
That's one of the comparisons I'm making with the game. It's like obviously it was really sad and everything.
Oh my God, we're at an hour. Oh. We have to wrap this up before it hits an hour. All right, we're gonna go on a second commercial break. Yes. We'll be after these messages and we'll finish episode 7. Goodbye. Oh, it's been an hour. Jesus Christ. Genuinely, 29:51 we're on right now. Oh, for God's sake, Xander, stop stealing my stuff. You did this already.
Oh, Zach. Yeah, sorry. I was Last of Us, because of the podcast, I was doing that. Oh, I was doing a bit for it.
Oh, right, got you, my bad. I forgot we were doing the Last of Us podcast today. This must be for the advert or something, right? Yeah, I hate how self-aware we're being in these adverts nowadays, but I do have to ask though, are you bringing this stuff back when you're done?
Yeah, I can bring it back. I can give it back if you want this back. This one. You can have that now. Here you go. I'm just keeping that for you. So it's wet. You can have it back now. I'll just put it back. Even though this is mine. But I'll put it back. The bag? I'll put it back. Let's go. Come on, camera. Let's go. I'll put the bag back. I'll put my bag back in your room. That's fine. Don't worry. You can enjoy yourself. That's just so easy to talk about The Last of Us.
Well, this is what we were like with Unis Honest. Yeah. We talked for fucking ages on that shit. Yeah. Okay, let's finish episode 7. Yes, we're nearly done. I hope you enjoyed this commercial break. Oh, welcome back. Cool, whatever. Who gives a shit? Okay, so, like I say, my favourite, saddest bit, I think the saddest bit in the whole show, the bit that teared me up the most.
In the whole show?
Yeah, so far, is just, let's just wait it out and lose our minds together. I genuinely could not hold back the tears.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was about the line delivery, but my God, Storm Rain. Genuinely.
It's a very cool name.
It is a fucking cool. I would have loved a name like that. Jesus, but their performance, that genuinely, I was ruined just by that line delivery.
Yeah,
obviously Bella smashing the glass was mirroring how she smashed the bricks in the game, which I loved. They did that as well. But it was just them both sat there with tears in their eyes, looking at their life is over. It's just that whole scene. And
also the bit when Ellie first sees that she gets bit. And she's like trying to rub it off, and she's like screaming like, no, she's trying to get it out.
I like that more than the game too. Yeah. In the game, she's like, oh no,
no, come on.
Whereas in the show,
she's like screaming, trying to pull it out of herself.
Which is how you'd actually react if you realise that.
Especially a child, you're with this person, you're about to leave.
That's a death sentence.
And she's just
like, that's a fucking death sentence. You're gonna scream out like it's not fair.
She's trying to pull it out of her arm, like, please get this infection out of me.
Yeah.
And then, her putting her hand up, and they're both seeing that they've both been bitten.
I mean, I think I still liked how they did it in the game. How they did in the game where Riley just goes, "Hi," bite mark right there, because that's how she would probably do it. She's more just phased by it.
Yeah.
Whereas two ways to react to that. Really, it's her being like disbelief, or Ellie, which is denial. Really, and it's like no. Yeah. Fucking God, that scene ruined me. That entire scene ruined me. I personally, this isn't a moan, I would have liked to see not a couple more infected because, I want to see more infected in the show. Just because I would have liked it if it was not more than just one infected taking out both of them.
Yeah.
I would have liked, like, maybe just
although they're only kids though, so it makes sense.
No, I know that, but I would have just liked a bit more there, where it was a bit more tension.
But I feel like if there was more than that, then they would have just been killed. No, if there's multiple, they're going to get ripped apart.
Yeah, maybe just 2 or 3 then. I don't want
3 versus 2 little girls.
I know, but still, I just would have liked a tiny bit more there.
Nah, you want too much. That would have just killed them. They would have ripped them apart. Right. One of them, one grown man that's become infected and feral trying to rip them apart, they only killed them because they had a knife in their head. Yeah. Other than that, they would have been ripped apart anyway. Okay. So 3 of them, they're done.
I just would have liked a bit more there, you know what I mean? Just one infected taking him out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
They're two little girls.
Alright.
This is a grown man.
Alright, fine.
A feral grown man at that.
Yeah, okay, whatever. I disagree, but okay. Anyway, yeah, so that episode's great. Yeah. Another banger. We can probably rank the episodes from least favourite to favourite when we get to the end of episode 9. Because afterwards we're still going to talk about the game. By the way, and then predictions.
Predictions for season 2, which is going to include conversations.
This is going to be the longest podcast we've ever done.
Absolutely.
I've ever done. Ever.
This is going to be like 2 hours long.
Oh, easy. We're going to break 2 hours probably. This is going to be the first 2 hour podcast ever. But,
what topic?
Episode 8.
Yes.
I finally get to talk about the best episode. I genuinely, I have to do some real thinking and rewatch like other stuff. But this is one of my favourite episodes of TV.
Damn.
Like, I need to rewatch some of the best Game of Thrones and Walking Dead and Doctor Who to really think where it lands. But this is up there with some of the best TV I've ever seen.
Yeah.
There is nothing. And, like, this isn't a minor grab of, I need more zombies. Doesn't have to be more zombies, but the one thing, let's just talk about it. David.
Yes.
One thing that I think the game does really well that the show unfortunately misses out on is before David reveals that he's actually evil or whatever, or not that he's evil but he knows Ellie or whatever, which adds tension, is that we see a sequence where they're working together, Ellie and David.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen a little bit of that before there's a divide. I don't know how they would have done it without infected, so maybe just having 1 or 2 infected show up and David saves her. I would have liked just
to kind of gain the trust a little bit more.
Yeah, I just would have liked it if there was something there. But then again, it doesn't need it because David's actor is so fucking good. Like, I think that the plot, the plot just really, really works without that added thing. I just think it would have really added layers to him.
Right.
Like a false sense of security of being like, oh, he's a good guy. He saved Ellie. He really is a good guy. He's actually brought back the medicine for Joel. Oh, damn. Oh, no. He knows who Ellie is. Skedaddle quick, bitch.
Yeah.
Before he chases after you. I really like how that plays out in the game. But it still works great in the show, which is why I still love this episode. Both mediums works, which is why I wouldn't necessarily make that change if I was in their shoes.
Right.
But it would have been cool to see all the same.
I mean, now we've got both.
Yeah, exactly. People are moaning about, I didn't get to see this from the game. It's like, well, just play the game.
Go play the game.
Go play the game.
If you want to see it, it's there.
There's not enough zombies. There are zombies in the game. Go fight zombies in the game.
Walk out the door and play the game.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So I'm not upset about that. You know, like if I want to see more zombies attack Riley and Ellie in Left Behind, I can just play the DLC. You know, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
So that's why I wouldn't make those changes, but it would have been something I would have liked to see. Is basically all I'm saying. But no, episode 8 is this is Bella Ramsey's magnum opus as a young actor. Okay, like I was just sold. By the end of this episode, I couldn't see anyone else in the role of Ellie.
Absolutely not.
I'm just upset that it took me this long to realise that Bella is the perfect choice for Ellie in the show. Because obviously we saw glimmers of how good their acting is throughout the entire show, obviously. But this is like the whole episode is just their acting just on full display. Do you know what I mean? Like the bit where the diner's burning. And the bit afterwards, my favourite scene of... Actually, no, that's my favourite scene of the whole show.
Damn.
I was saying It's Everyone Ever Cared For Died or Left Me. No, that's my favourite scene of the entire franchise now. Game, show, who cares? Best moment.
Where it's burning down and they're inside the room.
And then also the afterwards where she walks out.
Yeah.
That entire sequence, I love. Because...
So the end of episode 8, basically.
Well, yeah, the entire end. After she grabs the machete and goes... 1,000,000 times.
Yeah.
And then she screams.
Yeah.
That fucking acting. Yeah. My God, dude.
The awards are going to be flowing.
If Bella Ramsey doesn't get an award for episode 8, I'm going to scream like she did. And grab a machete and axe down whoever
gave the award to someone else.
Yeah, like, I'm going to axe them a real big question. Why wasn't given to Bella Ramsey? Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Pedro should get an award from one of the episodes. Probably the finale, because his performance was so good in the finale.
Either the finale or episode 6.
Premiere actually. Premiere with Sarah's
or 6
scene.
with Tommy.
Yeah. Actually, no. Yeah, 6. You're right. But episode 8 is so good. The scene in the cell played out exactly how I dreamed it of playing out. Because the David stuff is my favourite section in the game. It's by far my favourite section in the both games. And like I said, the bit in the cell was so perfectly done. I cannot begin to describe how happy I was. And the delivery of Ellie's the person. Tell them that Ellie is the girl who
the little girl that
broke your fucking finger. I like the delivery in the show more because it's so much more aggressive. Whereas in the game, it's more like she's almost playing onto his side, and then goes, "Who broke your finger?" So I just like the energy that Bella Ramsey brings to that line delivery. I think, like I say, Bella Ramsey just kills it this whole episode. I will not stop praising Bella Ramsey's acting for this episode alone. It is so good, from start to finish.
100%.
We didn't get the rabbit scene, but we kind of did. She was chasing. Ellie was chasing a rabbit,
but then fell over, but then got a deer.
So but then I like the fact that they kind of let the rabbit live in this iteration of the show. It's like, if you want to see the rabbit die, go play the game.
As iconic as the moment where she shoots it with
the
bow.
That's the most beautiful thing I've seen in my life. There you go, that's the moment. You're not going to do better than that, so you may as well remix it and be like, look, the rabbit gets to live this time. Look at that.
Remember that time of the game where it died? That was funny.
Remember that really iconic moment? Everyone memes all the time now.
This time it can live.
So great, honestly.
Yeah.
Great episode. What's your favourite bit besides everything in it?
What's your favourite bit except the whole episode?
Wait, no! I've got to talk more because Joel interrogating I will let you talk about this episode at some point.
No, that's fine.
But like, Jesus Christ, like, Joel interrogating them, I like that they did this scene like this in the show versus the game, because the scene works so much better in the show than in the game. In the show, you're seeing it from the perspective of, you hear about how brutal of a person Joel was after the outbreak and how many people he fucking brutalised. But you never see it in the show besides the soldier that he punches to death in the premiere.
Yeah.
So, finally seeing the lengths he will go to for Ellie in this bit where he's fucking stabbing his knee and then obviously the line delivery of like, it's okay, I believed him. You know, where he kills the other person. Perfect line delivery there. Thank you Pedro for doing exactly how I imagined it somehow. And you know what I mean, it's just like the whole entire moment. I was just so happy to see that play out exactly how
It was really good. Yeah.
I'll pop your goddamn knee off.
And I like the fact he smirks a little bit when he stabs him in the knee and he gets up. He's kind of smirking. He's like, fear me. Yeah. Like, you should be scared. Right?
Yeah, imagine getting your knee popped off. That'll never happen to me.
Could be me. There's actual consequences.
God, yeah.
He'll be fine.
Whereas, like I say, in the game, you see that scene of him being brutal, but you've played as Joel this whole game where you've like taken out hundreds of guards already.
Yeah.
In the show, you haven't seen him kill that many people. So seeing him do something so brutal to two men is just so creepy. Oh, don't know if you can hear that, but there's some hoodlum screaming outside our window. For all the window breaks. But no, and then the final... So, I made up a new word. Episode 8's final scene I want to talk about as well. I've left you nothing to talk about. I'm so sorry. I've left you nothing to talk about for episode 8, but I just want to talk about the final... I want to talk about the final scene though, because... Like, I love the scene where he where David gets a new facelift in the game, and I love the bit where Joel, where Joel is comforting her after, like as she's stabbing him. Beautiful moment, and he says, "Baby girl, you don't know how you can make that scene better. The show made that scene better by one simple thing." Ellie gets out of the building on her own. It gives her character way more agency. She completed her side story all on her own.
A side quest.
Yeah, literally, to pick up more collectibles, right? But
the cards.
Yeah, it's the cards.
There was one on David's corpse. Wait a second.
That was in your head the whole time?
It's like this egg you have to like break with the thing and find a toy inside.
Kinder surprise. Wow!
She broke it.
Super rare! But her leaving the building on her own just... gives her way more agency as a character of being able to basically overcome her obstacles on her own, which like I say, makes her character way more defined on her own. She can stand on her own 2 feet. Whereas in the game, it's implied that Joel somehow gets in on his own without the key that's on David's corpse.
Yeah.
And also gets her out of the building, which kind of undermines the idea of Ellie overcoming her obstacles on her own.
Yeah.
Basically. So I just love... It's the same scene. It's just the bit where Joel comforts her is outside. Literally. So there's nothing to moan about. And anybody who did moan about it just doesn't understand simple storytelling.
Exactly.
Again, right? Go play the game. If you really don't like it, fuck off. Don't watch it. Like,
it's not hard.
Yeah, and like I say, like the fact that Ellie... Because realistically, in the game, if Joel didn't show up, she would have stabbed David just as much as Bella Ramsey did, if not more.
Absolutely.
So the fact that we get like an extra 10 seconds of Bella just going in on David's skull and her screaming twice, her like broken voiced screams. That before, you know what I mean? You've seen that scene enough times to know how that scream sounds. And afterwards, her face of just shaking, because that's what would happen after like literally murdering someone. That's her first kill.
Brutally.
That's her first kill.
It's not her first kill.
Yeah.
No.
Besides Riley, that's her first kill. Because she didn't kill the kid, she shot him in the spine, and Joel did the rest. So that's the first person she's had to brutally murder in such a violent way, and she does a lot of that later.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
We'll see it a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. But anyway, and then like I say, Joel comforting her afterwards. Because the only purpose of Joel being in this episode is to comfort her at the end. So she doesn't fucking walk off into the river and freeze to death because of how much shock she would have been in that moment.
My
and it
only
plays out
question
exactly
about
how
the
I
end of
wanted
that
it
episode
to. What?
Is they get out, he comforts her, and then they start walking away.
Yeah. Towards the river.
Directly into the river.
I didn't understand that either.
Like, obviously it's green screen.
I kind of imagined that scene would have ended with her, like with them maybe going to the river and like Joel washing her face off of blood or something.
I hope that's true, because otherwise it's like, well, where are you going?
That's my head canon. It's just let's get you cleaned up type of thing, you know.
Maybe just some nice spring water, you know. Refresh
nice
yourself.
Fucking ice cold water.
I mean, it'd be quite nice to be fair. Refreshing after being in that hot room.
I know. Also, Troy Baker did really well as what's his face in episode. Yeah, James did really well in episode 8 as well.
He sounded exactly like Joel.
Yeah, and I was like, wait, what? When did Troy Baker enter the room? Oh yeah, he's James.
Oh yeah, he's there. He was talking with David, and it was just those two, and he was like, I sensed doubt in you.
Also, I love the fact how they literally play heavily into the cannibalism thing and how people don't know. But there's a great moment where you see a montage of all of these poor people just munching down on some meat that you think is the deer, and then David walking with the fucking deer, and they just look at them like, huh? What the fuck? I thought the deer was in my bowl. What the fuck is it doing over there? Like,
and
that was a really great moment.
When David's eating them all.
Yeah.
And they have their little bowls full, and he has like a stacked plate.
He has a banquet on his tray,
has so much
they have nothing.
And they've got a little bowl.
And I just want to reiterate, the moment in the cell is so well done. I loved it. But it's just in so many ways, like I say, just the line delivery from Bella of like, tell them that Ellie's the girl who broke your fucking finger. I love that so much. I can't get over how good of a performance on David's part, as well as I'll stop praising Bella for a second to praise how good of an actor David is.
I want to find out.
Anyway, you figure that out while we move on to episode 9, because I've talked about episode 8 for too long. Did I mention everything, by the way?
I think so.
Or do you have anything left to say that I haven't already said?
Scott Shepherd.
God damn, well done, dude. Like, you killed it, literally.
Scott Shepherd, what's he done? Oh, why am I on videos? Hello?
He'd be a great Hannibal Lecter, you know. Don't you think? Scott Shepherd.
Yeah, I can see that.
He'd be a pretty good Hannibal Lecter.
I can see that.
Maybe I'm just thinking of the cannibalism thing.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, anyway, no, I did, so good. What a good episode. I loved it so much. What a nice nap that was. I'm pretty hungry though. I might go to the kitchen and see what there is to eat.
guess there's no food. Well, I guess I'll just starve. I'm loving it.
Alright, now on to episode 9. There was a cut there and he's changed his clothes because the battery died and we had to empty the SD card so we could keep filming this fucking podcast. So, you take it away with episode 9 because I talked a lot about episode 8. So you take it away. What happened in episode 9 that was so great? I need to adjust the camera.
That was so good. Yeah, a little bit angled. What happened in episode 9?
Nice little Dutch tilt for you guys.
Yeah, it's cinematic.
Yeah, right.
So, episode 9, we started off.
It's like one of your favourites, so I feel like it's better if you take it away for this one.
Sure. So, they started off and they were just walking, weren't they? No, it was
There was a heart-to-heart moment.
It was Ellie's mum.
Ellie's mum. Yeah,
Ellie's mum, played by Ellie.
Played by,
which doesn't really make any sense, but played by the voice actress of Ellie.
She literally brought her to life.
She gave birth to the character of Ellie all over again.
Yeah, people give her praise for. Oh fuck's sake, stupid try. Keep talking.
Yeah, so it starts off with her. It just sounds like Ellie talking the whole time, which I love.
Every single time she'd speak, I'd just close my eyes
and grunted, and it was like, oh, okay, it's Ellie again.
It's Ellie talking, great.
So that scene was cool. I like that they established more of her and Marlene as like a.
And I like we got to actually meet Ellie's mum.
Yeah,
where in the game you never saw her. Great scene, loved it. Yeah, and also it's cool to see Marlene again. Also, I don't think we ever mentioned the fact that it's Marlene's actress from the game.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Fucking hell, this tripod is not looking good right now. Talk about how Joel nearly killed himself before the show started.
So yeah, okay, drop it on me like that. Yeah, so that was revealed that the guy who shot and missed was Joel. On himself.
He had a scar on his head, and he told Ellie at the start of this episode about being like, hey, I nearly killed myself.
Yeah.
To a small child.
Oh, by the way, the guy that shot and missed, that was me. And she was like, oh shit.
Oh great, cool.
That's kind of
fun
crazy.
stuff, man.
But I really like the bit where at the end of it she was like, well, I guess time heals all wounds, and he was like, it wasn't time that did it. And it's like,
yeah.
That was really sweet.
One thing I would have liked to have seen in this episode that we didn't was the Ellie not swimming thing coming to her head and her basically drowning and Joel trying to resuscitate her and the soldiers coming up and saying, raise your hands. And Joel didn't give a shit about raising his hands. He was just focused on pumping her chest until she woke up.
Yeah.
Which is a moment that I think I would have loved to have seen in the show. But maybe budgetary reasons meant they had to cut that whole tunnel bit underwater.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough, but I just would have liked to have seen. Maybe she drowned some other way, and we had to have. I just wanted the moment where he's trying to resuscitate her,
right?
And they're holding him at gunpoint, and he doesn't give a fucking flying fuck about he's being held at gunpoint. He's just focusing on keeping Ellie alive.
Yeah, that would.
I would have liked a version of that scene to happen. I don't care how they would have got there, about how Ellie came to not breathing.
Yeah.
But I would have liked that scene to happen.
I kind of like the contrast
really nice.
though, because in this they were like, it got kind of deep. And it was talking about him trying to shoot.
True.
And then he was like, okay, bring up the mood, tell me some jokes. I'm going to move some shitty puns. And so she's there, they're talking about the puns and walking around, and it seems like nice for a minute.
Yeah.
And then you just see the guys in the background sneaking up on them while they're talking.
That's cool.
That I thought was really cool.
But I also like the fact that moment kind of calls back to the first episode where you see them out of focus and you see the danger looming.
Yeah. Like
when Sarah's looking at DVDs and you see the old lady doing a creepy thing in the background.
Yeah.
So I like that sort of subtle callback visually. But now only 2 more things to talk about for this episode because we want to blitz through this real fast because we've been talking long enough already. But the hospital scene is so fucking well done.
It's perfect.
One of the crowning achievements of this adaptation that I was hoping they'd nail, and they did.
Yep.
The fact that it isn't framed as this action set piece.
Yeah.
It is framed as this massacre.
Yeah.
And it's meant to be, even though still, now that this new version of the story's out, people are still playing Joel did the right thing. No. It's framed in this way with the music and the slow-mo and him shooting an unarmed man to be like, Joel isn't doing a good thing here. Yeah. And yet people still online are arguing now about he's the hero. He saved the girl from the bad doctors. No.
Well, to be fair, they couldn't have made a cure. They said they could, but they couldn't.
No. Throughout the show, they're saying
doctors who got there, who were the last thing they knew, the last research they got was in 2003. it's been 20 years in an apocalypse. I don't think they're cut out to still be surgeons.
No.
I don't think that if they can't make a cure for a fungal infection in normal life, they can't do it in an apocalypse.
No.
And when they were explaining it, saying like the cordyceps thinks she's cordyceps and that's why it doesn't take over her body, that's bullshit. That's not true, because anytime an infected saw her, it went to attack her and to try and infect her. But when they saw Tess after she'd been bitten, they looked over to her, it didn't go and attack her, it walked over her just to spread the fungus more. It didn't attack her because it knew that she had cordyceps. With Ellie, it doesn't know that, so they were completely wrong about that.
But regardless of what side of the fence you're on about that, the scene is about how Joel doesn't know any of that crap. He doesn't know whether the virus, whether the vaccine will work or not. He doesn't care if it will work or not. All that he wants and cares about is Ellie being alive. Which is why, vaccine be damned, he's getting Ellie out of that hospital alive. Which is what that scene's about. It's less about it. The moment is meant to be him choosing Ellie over mankind. That's what the point of the scene was. It always was in the game. And it's translated, I think, even better in the show, maybe. I don't know. I'll have to play the game again. Oh no, what a shame. I'll have to.
Oh, poor you.
I know. But I know it's such a hardship that I have to. Such a heavy toll.
It's okay.
But
I'll help you get through that.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You're gonna be okay to sit through all of that?
Yeah, maybe not tonight. I have an essay to do, but another time.
No, we can do it tonight. I can bang it out. I mean, we've got to wait until it comes out on Steam first anyway.
That's true. 28.
And when it does, I am spamming the purchase button until it works. I don't even care.
5 days.
5 days. Oh, I can't wait.
5 days.
I can't wait to play it on PC.
It's going to be so
I'm going to no-life it. I'm just going to play it throughout all of Easter break. And then when we're back, you're going to... when we're back at uni, we're going to meet up for the first time again. And you're going to be on there and you're going to see all the achievements already unlocked. You'll see all the trophies I've got. So it's like, so Zach, what achievements do you need me to get since I'm a pro at the game? Oh, never mind, you've already done them all.
Oh, they're all done.
Oh, great. How many times have you played the game? 27. Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, good to know.
And the last bit, another tribute to how great Pedro and Bella were in the role is the final scene of being like, swear to me that everything about the Fireflies is true. And one thing that I think was so perfect in the game was the performance of Ashley being Ellie, just saying that subtle okay. Because that can be read a million ways. It can be read as she fully believes him. It could also be read as she fully doesn't believe him and resents him for it. It could also be read as she doesn't believe him, but she also realises she loves him and she realises it must have been for a good reason. That one word, okay, can be read a million ways. And I think Bella does nail that sort of energy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That subtle okay. I think that she does understand how she had to play that okay.
Yeah.
The most important okay in TV, probably.
In history.
You know what I mean? Like in fiction, okay. I think definitely one of the most important lines to leave us before season 2 is that okay, and I think that she does hit it.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I saw Ashley Johnson talking about it on a podcast a couple of days ago about how she approached it, and she was saying like when she's doing it, in her mind, that was when their relationship changed, and she realised that he was going to lie to her to protect her.
Yeah.
And that she had to accept that that she couldn't fully trust everything he said anymore. And that as much as he can physically save her life, that she can't rely on him for everything.
No.
And he can't be fully trusted.
And that's, like I say, that's so good. And like I say, whether you want to interpret it the way she described it or not is up to you. That's what's so great about fiction, is you can interpret it any way you like.
Yeah.
And that's what's so great about such a simple line like that, and how the facial expression was portrayed in the show and in the game. It's just so perfect. It can literally be read a million ways. Yeah. And it's perfect. It's perfect way to end the season on. I mean, it's the way the game ended too, so naturally it'll be a great way to end the show. But all the same, it's so good. Pedro and Bella, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We're going to stop talking about season 1 now because we're done. But any moments from the game that didn't happen in the show that you like, that you want to talk about here? Before we move on to the second game and predictions. Because we're not done yet. By the way, that's just the season 1 discussion. Alright? The rebar thing I would have liked to have seen where he gets impaled. Also, the bit in the tunnel was a big one that I would have liked to have seen. I would have liked a reference of Joel in the water with a pallet and Ellie on top balancing on it. Just for those sections in the first game. I would have liked one of those.
Yeah.
But like I say, beggars can't be choosers. It's still great.
A bottle or a brick throw.
Yeah, yes.
Just any.
That would have been
just
cool.
Once.
I know it would have been difficult to do. Maybe slip in as characters are sneaking away from bad guys. You hear a whoosh as they're nearly getting spotted. Just like a little reference.
Just like the music getting more intense, like a rise in the music. Yeah. Do the same thing.
That would have been cool.
I mean, there might have been. I didn't know.
Any last minute thoughts on the game?
Lots, but I all of them at once. So none to come out.
No.
I loved it. It was great.
Yeah. So what do you prefer in hindsight? Season 1 or game 1?
Nostalgia aside.
Yeah.
And kind of just based purely objectively of how it is and what it is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say.
For me,
I'm gonna say season 1.
Yeah.
But if it was a game, the things that happened in the show. Put into the game.
Yeah, it would make the game better. Yeah. I don't know. I think right on my initial instincts, I would still go game 1. Only because of how my original view of the Last of Us story is that it was a slow burn, and we saw the game feels like it was a journey that lasted a year.
Yeah.
Whereas the show, you skip a lot of that downtime.
Yeah.
You skip some of that small talk that you get when you're looting buildings between Joel and Ellie. And I think that's what it comes down to, is how you view the story. If you view it as a nice, neat, succinct story, beginning, middle, end, the show is going to be better because it's first of all taking what was so great about the game and adding more great shit. Whereas the game, if you are viewing the game as restart my brain real quick. If you're viewing the game as the slow burn that I viewed it as back in 2013, then you're gonna naturally prefer that because the show does streamline a lot of the downtime that happens there. So, like the little bits, like Ellie teaming up with David briefly. Little moments like that are kind of missed. I think they kind of cut it for time, or because it maybe wasn't necessarily. Yeah. But yeah, I both are great though. I loved the shit out of season 1. Every episode is a banger.
Best video game adaptation ever done.
Yeah, I don't think anything could come close to it. But
I've heard people say that Arcane, the series, is really good as well.
Yes, but it's not an adaptation of the game. It's in the game's universe.
Oh, well then there you go.
But it's like an adaptation of the game's lore and world, but it's not a direct sort of adaptation of any existing story, I don't think. I don't know for sure, but anyway. Predictions.
Season 2.
We saw Dana. Do you think they're going to keep Dina? Sorry, are we going to keep the same actress, or do you think they're going to recast her?
I think they will. I think they'll keep the same one.
Yeah.
Because
do you know the actress? Have you seen what she's in? Or whatever?
I haven't seen what she's in, but I Googled
You trust
her.
it? You trust it?
I don't know. I have no reason to not trust it so far.
Also, I was making the joke. I don't know if I did it on a podcast or not, but I'll make it again because it's funny. When the casting calls come out or the casting results come in for season 2, every Last of Us gamer is going to be on that. All right, which one is a blonde, muscly bitch? Yeah. Which one? I know they're in it because I made that joke before. I don't know whether it was on a podcast or not, but it'll happen.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be sweating about which one's the bitch that's going to do the thing. All right, spoiler warning. Before I nearly said it.
Yeah.
From here on in, we're going to spoil everything that may happen in season 2 and did happen in the second game.
Yes.
So do not watch from this point if you don't want it spoiled. If you don't care, then welcome to the next part of the podcast that
Joel
hopefully won't take as long. Spoiler! He plays golf.
She plays golf.
On his head.
With his head.
It's not a hole in one either. It's like a hole in one. It's a hole in 20.
It's like a Joel in 7.
How many? Definitely more than 7. His head was battered by the time Ellie came in.
I mean, 3 hits with a golf club like that, your head's going to be battered.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's like
he was barely in there when she was shouting at him on the floor. Joel, get up! Joel, fucking get up! That scene's going to be traumatizing in the show. I see what you mean though, because Ellie in the show, seeing Bella perform in that cage scene with David and what they're capable of as an actor is just. I have so much faith in Bella. I feel like she'd be able to pull off that scene of being just traumatized and just sobbing from the eyes and nose, that sort of acting. Do you know what I mean? I feel like they'd be able to pull off that
100%.
that deep and heavy scene.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll adapt the scene one for one, or do you think they'll change the circumstances that they get there? No. Do you think it will be like, oh, Joel saves Abby, or...
I do think it will be that, but I think they're going to do it slightly differently, because you know in the game, you're as Abby, and all of a sudden they just start coming out of the forest, chasing after her, and there's a big horde. I think they're going to incorporate the hive mind, and she's going to step on it, alert loads of them, and that's why they're going to chase her.
Yeah, that's cool.
Rather than just come out of nowhere, and
that makes more sense.
All be in the same area.
But yeah, do you think we're going to go to the cable car station at all in that?
I think they will. I don't think it'll be the same kind of thing, but I think it'll be
also
very similar.
Which episode in season 2 do you think they're going to play golf?
The end
of which episode?
Season 2.
Really?
Yep.
Do you?
100%.
Huh.
They're going to give us loads more time building up Ellie and Joel after she doesn't trust him, and then that's going to happen towards the end.
That would work
Season
if they
3
use
will be Ellie's revenge.
If they use the flashbacks that you see dispersed in the game with Tommy and Joel, then that might work. 2. That might be play out. They might play out before Abby comes in. Right. Yeah.
The end of it, like episode, however many they do in season 2, the one before the last one will be the start of it. Will be the time skip, 4 years. And then it will carry on from there.
Strange. It'll be a very bleak way to end the season, though, huh?
I mean, so was this. She doesn't trust a word he says.
Yeah.
He's trying to win her over. He's just massacred a hospital and Marlene.
Yeah.
And now he's going back.
I mean, it would give us more time to. It would give us more time with Jesse, so I'd be happy with that. I like Jesse, in case you couldn't tell.
He loves Jesse.
I do.
Is Jesse your favourite character?
No.
Yes. See? Anyway.
That's definitely my voice.
Yes, he is.
I like metal also.
I like metal. Zach. I'm Zach. I like metal and Jesse. And that is all.
Nothing else.
Jesse made of metal is my favourite thing.
So, yeah. Christ. Do you want to talk about Dina?
Yes.
Do you want to talk about Dina?
I would.
Because you like Dina a lot.
Dina is one of my probably top 3 favourite characters in The Last of Us. Mm-hmm. Just because I feel like she puts up... Yes.
Rank your favourite characters, top 5, top something.
In the first game or second?
Or both. Overall.
Okay, number 1, story. Ellie.
Yeah.
Number 2, Joel.
Mm-hmm.
Then Dina.
Yep.
Then I'm going to go with... unpopular opinion.
Tommy or something?
Abby.
Okay.
I know.
I'm not going to hate on that. Abby's a well-written character. It's just badly executed.
Yeah, in some ways, yeah. But Abby, then 5, probably Jesse.
Alright. I'm glad that Jesse's on there.
Yeah.
Respect.
No, because I do really like him. He just doesn't get enough.
He doesn't get enough time.
For him to be in like
I'm
the top
excited
3.
if what you say is what's going to happen. I'm excited to see more of him.
Because they can build up Dean and Ellie's relationship going up.
Yeah.
They can insert Jesse, give him more screen time, build up the conflict kind of going on with Joel and Ellie, and then time skip at the end, have the shit go down.
People are going to hate season 3 then. Because there's going to be so much Abby in season 3.
Yeah.
Holy shit! No one's going to like season 3.
I think what they'll do is they'll give Ellie an episode, Abby an episode, Ellie an episode. I don't think they'll do it all Ellie or Abby.
Yeah. That'd be crazy.
They'll integrate them, and then at the end they'll meet.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. My favourite characters: Joel first.
Jesse, and Joel.
Joel number 1. Ellie number 2. Mm-hmm. Easy, top 2. Easy. What would it be anyone else?
Not really.
If you're a fan of The Last of Us, your top 2 characters are naturally going to be those 2. Yeah. Doesn't matter which order they're in, they're both great.
Unless you're homophobic. Then Ellie will be the...
Oh my god. The amount of fucking inbreds that got annoyed at how they made Bill gay, even though it was never...
annoyed they made Ellie gay?
No, wait, the thing is, that's what I was about to get to, is people were moaning about how how Bill is gay in the show. It's like, he was never not gay in the game. They just never announced that he was or wasn't. Because it wasn't important for his character. And that was who gives a shit? Like, they made a good episode. Why are you moaning about it? Also, if you're annoyed about a side character in this show being gay, then you're not going to enjoy what happens with Ellie later. Jesus H. Christ, you...
Yeah.
Bigots is the best word for them. Christ. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. I'm not giving them any more spotlight because they don't deserve it.
Not that you of that, but...
No, hopefully not. If you are, then unsubscribe. I don't want you here, okay? Anyway, regardless, that's my soapbox. I'm off that now.
Yeah.
But no, what was I saying originally? Yeah.
Top characters.
Joel, Ellie, easy top 2. Mm-hmm. Joel is probably still my favourite just because he's such an interesting character to think about because of how he's so morally grey that he's you know,
yeah,
and
it's hard to side with them sometimes.
Yeah, but that's what makes them so much more interesting. And Ellie though too with the second game, so 100%. Ellie's also great. So it's hard for me to choose which, but for me, I think it might be Joel edging it out a bit because I like the first game more than the second. But that's not saying the second game's bad, because I know that there are a lot of people that like to hate on the second game for no reason, and you lot are just kind of stupid because
kind of people. Sorry to say it.
Even though the first game is better, the second game does still deserve a lot more praise than it got. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a second, because I do want to get onto that.
Yes.
But after that, it would probably actually have to be Jesse third.
Really? Third?
Well, maybe fourth, actually. I do like Tommy a lot. But
Tommy didn't even make my top 5.
I know, that's sad.
It's because of the end.
Yeah, the end does kind of dampen him, doesn't he? He would.
If that's how his character is going forward, then I don't like that.
That won't happen in the show. They'll be smarter than that.
Yeah.
Hopefully. I think the game devs really do, or the game writers really do realise, maybe that was out of character. Maybe let's not have him turn really fucking dark real quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, so top 2, and then I think Jesse is actually third. To be honest, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'd say Jesse third. Fuck it. Then fourth is probably Dina or Dana. I don't know. And then my fourth is Dana. My fifth is Dina. But no, fourth is probably Dina or Tommy, and then the fifth is the other one of those, or possibly Abby. Because I think Abby's a well-written character. It's just the pacing of the second game sabotages her, in my opinion.
The 10 hours straight of just Abby after that.
Fuck off with that shit. Yeah.
Makes it difficult.
But yeah, that is so season 2. Hopefully it happens how it says you do. I don't want it to literally be the entire season is just leading up to the golf. I would like it if they had a bit afterwards. To be honest, it'd be a bit of a bleak way to end the season. But most of it could be more of that story, more of that set piece. Because my favourite part of the second game is the lead up to golf. So I would love to see more of that in the show. I just don't want it to be entire 9-10 episodes. You know, that's my only thing. But regardless,
I'm thinking after that point, where would they stop? How much more would they let go after that?
Fuck, I don't know. Maybe they just add more before the time skip, where they reach the city. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, the second game. Here's why it's not a pile of garbage like people complain about, okay?
Yes.
You can also, because you have a lot more to say about defending this game than I do, but
defend it with my life.
So this isn't a revenge story. Revenge stories end with the protagonist getting their revenge on someone. This is an acceptance story, and a story about coming to terms with the fact that you can't change the past, and letting the past determine your decisions is toxic, and how you need to not let your past define you and not let your hatred define you. That's what this story is about. And it's also a story of tormented souls, 2 tormented souls going on very, very similar journeys but paralleled. And them both being very, very similar people. And it's Ellie's story at first, and it is mostly Ellie's throughout this entire game, but we do have a bit of Abby's that is pretty similar. But I like the dynamic of Lev at the end. Is it Lev?
Yeah.
It's Lev, yeah. And I like that it kind of mirrors the sort of guardian aspect that we had in the first game of Joel and Ellie. That's a nice little aspect in there, but also...
Which a lot of people hate to recognise. When people make comparisons with Abby and Joel, everyone's like, no, they're completely different.
Yeah.
They're not really. By the end of it, they're relatively... They want the same thing.
But like I say, Abby and Ellie went through the exact same thing. And which is why in the third game I'm excited to see what dynamic they'll have.
Yeah.
The second game isn't bad. It is really not bad, guys. You're just being dumb, okay? The pacing, sure, it is a bit crap.
Yeah.
The story isn't. There's a difference, okay? Having 10 hours of Abby, yes, I agree. It is a bit shit. But listen, hear me out here. Abby is written the exact same way as Ellie in this story. It's only because that you knew Ellie in the last game,
so you
side with her.
You're mixing them.
I am, because they're so similar.
And Ali.
The crux of this story comes to a head when Ellie, whatever her name is strangling Abby underwater.
Yeah.
And she realises it's not worth all this.
Yeah.
What the fuck am I doing here? I've just thrown away the love of my life to chase after.
Just to know her whole life.
Yeah, to throw away.
So long
like, and it's such a beautiful realization at the end that I'm in a dark spot right now.
Well, she has nothing.
Yeah,
she has absolutely nothing.
And it's so great because and the thing as well is that like people moan about the sudden descent into Ellie suddenly killing everyone. No, it's not sudden. Who was the first person she killed in the second game? Because she doesn't kill people. She doesn't. Most of the combat stuff that she does in the second game is against infected until where does she first?
I mean,
kill the first
WLF's come around after her in Seattle. Like she's in like.
But that doesn't happen for a while though.
Yeah.
Most of the city stuff, the free roam city stuff, is against infected.
Yeah.
So it's quite far into the second game where she starts killing humans. So that point is immediately void.
Oh, is it those guys? Is it the guy with the cut on his face? The scar here?
Yeah.
Is it that guy?
I think it was.
I think it might be that guy.
So they don't. It isn't rushed. Okay.
Yeah.
You're just not paying attention. Okay. So back me up here because.
No, I completely agree.
Yeah, like genuinely, and I think Dina. Yeah, Dina's that's how you say it. I completely forget how to say it now. But is genuinely such a beautiful piece of levity for this story as well. Mm-hmm. She's not my favourite, but I can see why you like her. Yeah. Because she is just like a ray of sunshine for Ellie. And seeing that last ray of sunshine go when Ellie makes the decision to leave again. It's the decision to leave again that just shows the tortured soul that Ellie is and the sort of story they're telling.
Yeah. Yeah, as much as I love Ellie, she's very selfish.
Yeah.
Like towards the end, and she doesn't really care about how Dina's going to feel because she thinks I need to do this thing, and so she leaves her, leaves the kid. Ugh.
So let's list off 5 of the best reasons why Part 2 isn't a bad game.
Oh, okay. Oh Jesus. Okay.
Because. Let's be fair.
Yeah.
1, the story.
Yes.
All right. It is a great. I still like the story of the first game, but it's hard to top it. It's like It's like comparing. Fucking.
It's gonna be a hard comparison.
Yeah. It's like comparing.
Alvin and Chipmunks 1 with Alvin and Chipmunks 2. You're not gonna top the first one.
That's what.
But you can do it well.
Comparison.
The Squeak Cool was good. But was it as good as the first one?
No. It really wasn't.
I hate to say it.
But no. Story is really, really good. Mm-hmm. That was the bit that I enjoyed the most. Actually, the combat system is actually miles better.
Incredible.
You know what? Shut up. Part 2's combat system is way better than the first one.
So
actually.
much better.
Thank you.
So much better. The actual gameplay is so good.
Even though the set that we have one block full of Abby, I like that we have twice the amount of runtime of the game.
Absolutely.
Because we get more to sink our teeth into. Mm-hmm. The main criticism that we both agree on is that we would have liked it. Bit of Abby, bit of Ellie. Bit of Abby, bit of Ellie.
Split it up a little bit. Mix it up.
Because then, if you don't like Abby, you can just wait until you get to the next Ellie section.
Yeah.
Which is that's just that fix, and then the game will be seen a completely different light, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great.
I think the only thing stopping it from being the perfect game is the fact you have to watch Owen dry fuck Abby in a boat. It was completely dry down there. It was dry down there. Be real. It was.
Be real.
Be real.
Be real. Is it?
Be real. Wait, we need to do
be real. Is it be real time? Be real. It's time to be real, guys.
Sorry, guys.
Just a bit. 1 second.
We gotta do be real.
Hold on. I'm gonna do yours first.
Okay. Wait. Oh wait. Why is it so fuzzy? My camera's.
Your camera sucks. No wonder I didn't get you to vlog after that Christmas video. It's in focus.
Yeah. Okay.
It's doing the wrong door. Okay. Jesus. All right, my turn.
Great. Look at
it. Beautiful. There we go. It takes so long. There you go. That's our be real, guys. We've been real now. Now we can go back.
So real.
No, I have to redo it.
Why?
Oops, I accidentally swiped. Sorry, guys.
Sorry. We just forgot that we had to be real.
We had to be real for a second.
I forgot the camera's rolling for a second.
You did?
How long's it in?
Oh my God! We've already reached another half an hour. All right, let's go for another commercial break. See after these messages.
We did that in sync.
This is blunt. I need to upgrade my machete on an upgrade table. Here's one here. I think we press that. No. No. Yes. Oh my god, this is perfect. Perfect.
Oh, have we not got enough Last of Us adverts already, dude? What are you doing with my stuff now?
I upgraded my machete. This bit is a projectile. It was like, and it killed all the little things on the floor around me. And then this is a new solid, so I can like bludgeon the people that are in front of me instead of cutting them up, which now I can. What do you think?
I think I'm gonna leave.
And welcome back from yet another commercial break on this podcast. This is the longest fucking pot. This is definitely going to be the longest.
What are we going
one.
to do for all these intermissions?
I don't know, man. We've got to figure that out afterwards. He's got an essay to write after this.
It's fine.
Anyway, so season 2, part 2, game part 2.
Yes.
Why is that so great? Let's wrap that up real quick because that record needs to be set straight.
That's true. Because Ellie's story is one of the most tragic and beautiful and endearing and conflicting stories to be told through video game and anything. To be fair. Because you're playing as her, and so many horrible things happen to her, which makes you sympathise with her. But then she makes so many questionable and terrible decisions, which makes you have to disagree with her.
Can you defend the Abby angle at all?
What do you mean? What she did?
I mean defend the criticism against Abby, because that's
against
like the main
character,
choking point.
No, I cannot defend any criticism against her character other than for people who simply don't understand complex characters, or they're too stubborn to accept that characters that kill or harm their favourite characters can also be good characters, just from another perspective.
Exactly.
And so if you do think she's a bad character, then your brain can't comprehend.
That might be why they wanted us to play 10 hours of Abby straight to try to get us that, but I think they had the wrong impression of how to do that.
They had good intentions, but it was not the way to do it.
Bad execution in that.
And the loss of Joel, as heartbreaking as it was necessary for the story to go forward the way it was going to.
Exactly.
Abby's not a bad person. Well, actually, no. Abby is a bad person.
But so
Ellie's a bad person.
But so Ellie's a worse person.
Joel's a bad person. Everyone in the
game Joel is a bad person, guys. Shut up.
All these characters, except maybe Jesse and Dina.
Jesse and Dina. Jesse and there you go. Jesse and Dina.
See,
the real
they should just be together still.
The real ones.
They should be. Well, he died. If he didn't, then they should have stayed together, and they would have been happier.
They would have been.
I love Ellie and Dina, but Ellie treats Dina like shit.
Yeah.
She even calls her what did she call her? She called her a burden because she was pregnant. Ellie, I love you. Ellie, you're a bitch sometimes. You're horrible.
Jesus. Oh,
anyway.
Yeah. So, like I say, people viewed this story in the wrong light. They thought it was a revenge story. It is just an acceptance story.
Or a resisting acceptance, because she refused to accept it for the longest time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, she accepts it in the end. That's what the end game is.
In the very end, yeah.
That's what it is. It's accepting that I've got to move on. Things are different now. I've gone too far.
But but it's also saying that even if, just because you've finally accepted it, that doesn't make all the bad decisions you made get to that
biggest
point right.
annoyance of part 2, not of the game, but of people's criticism of it, is people literally finished the game out of just wanting Abby dead, and like that's fair enough. But like people are like criticizing the game that's a bad game because Ellie didn't kill Abby, but you didn't. It's like they were hate playing the game. It's like how you hate fucking someone. You hate playing the game, but you're gonna sit through to the end anyway, and then you criticize it But it's like, you've played through the whole game. How did you not pick up the fact that that's not where this story was going?
Yeah.
The end game wasn't Ellie killing Abby. It was her confronting Abby, but also confronting herself.
Yes.
There you go. Did I do good justice there?
Yes.
Yeah.
You did.
I still like part 1 more, but
I do.
But you like part 2 more than part 1. We're like the two sides of the same coin.
Yeah,
we
great.
both love both parts, but
just one side.
Part 2 was your first game. Part 1 was my first game. So it literally just comes down to which you play first, probably.
Yeah.
They're both great stories.
Yeah.
Go figure. Part 2's a bit poorly paced in comparison to part 1.
Heartbreak. Yeah. I love feeling heartbreak. That's why I love the second game.
It's the only way you can feel anything in
that's
that
the way I
cold
feel
soul
things.
of yours.
I watch Joel's death on repeat.
Just to feel anything.
Something.
But yeah, so predictions for the second game. You think that season 2, second series.
Yes.
What do you think?
I think that they're gonna go.
I think that Joel's gonna die. Crazy thought, right? How are they
Are you serious?
I think they're gonna be ballsy enough to do it. They didn't kill anyone important last season, so. Except Seth.
Except that random doctor they focused a lot on.
Gee, I wonder if that'll come back.
They're lingering on this guy for a little while. Like, this action may lead to some consequences.
Gee, I wonder what that'll lead to.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Nothing will happen there.
No one's going to come after you for revenge after that. You know what I did notice in episode 9?
What?
At one point when Joel's going around killing people in the hospital,
yep.
This really muscular woman with a one hair braid runs past the camera and doesn't get killed. But that's the only time you see them. And he doesn't kill them either.
Do we know who's casted as Abby?
I think it's Shannon Berry, but I could be wrong.
We've got it timestamped here. If that's true, then
if it turns out to be Shannon Berry, there's no official announcement. There's no anything. If it's Shannon Berry,
then we have video proof that you planned, that you predicted.
Credit.
Yep, full credit. You get full royalties for that.
Nice.
Yeah, cool stuff.
So I think they're going to do the first... Season 2 is going to be a build-up to golfing. And that's where it's going to end and everyone's going to be like, oh my god, that's ridiculous.
I don't know if they want to make the whole season that. I'd love it if it is, because that's my favourite section of part 2.
I think they will. Because they, as much as they love the story and they love the characters, they also love shock. And shock value on the audience.
Yeah.
And that would be like the most like, oh my god.
True. I mean,
Ellie's going to go crazy.
More crazy stuff has been done. They killed off Ned Stark at the end of season 1 of Game of Thrones.
That's true.
Spoiler alert for a fucking 10-year-old show.
It's true.
Spoiler alert for a 10-year-old season.
Was that Richard Madden?
Huh?
Richard Madden. Was that his character?
No, that was Sean Bean.
Oh, never mind.
Anyway, so what do you rank the episodes of season 1 when we're wrapping up everything?
Oh, I'm gonna put episode 3 at 1.
Really?
Yeah.
Then what?
Then episode 1 at 2.
Yeah.
Episode 9 at 3.
Okay.
Episode 8 at 4.
Yes.
Episode 7 at 5.
Yeah.
Episode 6 at 6. That's good. Episode...
You still got 2 left, you've still got 5 left? No.
Yeah.
You still got 5 left.
5 at...
And you've also still got episode 4 as well. 4 is bottom, isn't it, for you?
Yeah, 4 is 9.
Yeah.
Still great, but it's just my least favourite
least of the best.
my favourites.
It's the least best.
Yeah, it's the least incredible of all of them.
Yeah.
And then 4 would be... No, I already did that. 2 would be...
5 and 2 you're missing.
Okay, so 5 I'm going to put at
5 above or below 2?
Below.
Below. And so 2...
2 is at 7, and then 8 is 5, and then 4 is 9.
Cool. For me, episode 8 is number 1. After that, it's 5. After that, it's episode 1.
5?
Yeah. No. Yeah, 5. Because that's one with the big bloater thing.
That's true.
A big boss episode, that is. Then episode 1. Wait, so 8, 5, 1, 3. 9? No. 7. Because that's Riley. Then 9. Then 2. Then 6, then 5, then 4. No, 6, then 2, then 4.
Okay.
Because I already did 5. 5 was up there.
I think I'm going to change one thing. I'm going to put 5 above 2.
Because you realised.
I'm going to put 5 above 2.
Because you realised after I said it.
Yeah.
Because that has the Sam and Henry stuff at the end.
Yeah.
And the big swarm. And yeah. It's really great.
That's
5 is a great one. But anyway, yeah. That's great. What are your predictions for the third game? Since we're doing a podcast all about Last of Us. Predictions, rough predictions.
I think either they're going to go with Ellie and it's going to be kind of like...
Yeah.
I don't know where they would go from it though. Genuinely, I have no idea.
Here's my prediction.
Because Tommy thinks she shouldn't go.
I've got a very solid prediction, and I'd like this to come true. Of like the entire runtime of the game. Okay. Third game.
Damn. Okay. You hear it here first.
So, Abby and Lev are trying to find the Fireflies, right? Mm-hmm. They go to the Fireflies. That's how the game starts, and they discover that they are able to find a cure after all this madness. But they need someone that's immune. And Abby knows that Ellie's immune. So she's like, do I really want to put Ellie through this? Like, do we really want to reopen that wound?
Like we just left it at that.
Yeah.
And now she's like, do I...
Can I... But at the end of the day, she chooses, yes, I'm doing this for mankind. I have to go find Ellie and try and see if she's up for it. And at the same time, or maybe somewhere in there, we find this other character, this young child, who's also immune. And Ellie acts as a mentor for them.
Right, okay.
And the A-plot is seeing, obviously, Ellie and this other immune...
Joel.
Yes!
Right.
Yeah. And this new immune child is meant to be like a once-in-a-blue moon thing, right? So this person being
kind of
immune...
crazy that Ellie would meet that child, though.
Yeah. Or maybe it's Abby that does, and maybe... She's trying to get back to the Fireflies with Ellie, or maybe something like that happens. But I want there to be the majority of the game being Ellie being the mentor of this child, or Abby trying to find Ellie.
They might team
to sort out
because Ellie would be down to do that for mankind.
Yeah.
Unless she gets her family back, and then it's like the choice is like, are you going to leave them?
Or maybe Abby is the mentor for the immune child.
Yeah.
And Ellie fucking is somewhere else.
No, but I think Ellie might be Ellie would join them. Because Ellie would want that.
But if she doesn't know about it yet, then she's doing something else. That's what I mean. There are 4 things at play. 3 things.
Yeah.
Abby trying to find Ellie. There being this new immune child to really mix up the roster. Yeah. And the Fireflies maybe finding a cure after all and wanting someone who's immune. Yeah. That's the main crux of this third game.
Yeah.
Basically. And a bit of Tommy on the side doing something, I don't know.
And obviously what Tommy's going to do, he's got his limp, he's got his can't hear.
Well, Tommy's going to be the character that we get to see flashbacks of Joel again to spritz in.
I think
we can if Tommy's a playable character.
I don't think he would.
In the flashbacks, he can be a playable character.
Yeah, it could be.
I'd like to see that. I would like to see Tommy be a great excuse to have in the game to see more Joel.
Yeah.
So I'd put that in somewhere. I don't know how I'd work it. I'm not a game developer, but yeah. And then obviously maybe Dina and Ellie reconcile somewhere in the game.
I really don't want Dina to do that. To be fair,
okay.
She deserves better.
Fair enough. Or maybe we have more like a resolution between them. Like they sort of say
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. And maybe if Ellie makes the choice, and the ultimate end of the story is Ellie choosing to actually give her life and not have the child who's immune do it.
Yeah.
She makes a sacrifice so that the child doesn't have to. If that's not the game story, what the fuck are they doing?
Because then,
if they're trying to perfect
they wouldn't operate on Ellie, but they would operate on the child, and then she massacres something. She reflects what Joel did in the hospital to save the child.
Yeah.
And it's the same scene.
Well, it depends how they want to end it, but they have options basically.
So
with that extra immune child in the mix, there is so much they can do.
Yeah.
So there you go. If Naughty Dog, that's the developer. If you're watching this, and I doubt you are, but if you are, I'm gonna fucking sue you if you use my idea. No.
I got an email from them the other day.
Please do use my idea because it'd be a cool game.
Credit him though.
Please
pay him.
And then I'll transfer some of that to him.
Just because I want some money too.
Anyway, Naughty Dog emailed you?
Yeah, well, in response to me emailing them.
Right.
I emailed them, basically, like a very vague, broad thing, being like, hey, I love Last of Us. I would take any job that's available within the company, or anything at all, even not with the company.
Yeah.
Just a concept art.
What they say?
And they said that they do hire people, and that they, and that when positions come out, there will be email to anyone that wants to receive those kind of emails, and all that kind of stuff. And they mentioned hiring for future projects coming up soon.
Do it.
And so I'm gonna go for it if it comes up. Yeah. But that was cool.
Dude, do it. Live your best life.
I absolutely.
Did you bring the signed frame?
Oh.
Well, they've seen it. It's been in a couple videos
You've
anyway.
Seen it in the last one.
In one of the ones.
I met Troy Baker. I have a picture.
You're gonna meet Ashley Johnson someday, right?
Yes, this October, hopefully.
I'm hopefully going with you this time.
Yeah.
It's MCM.
Mm-hmm. I think she's going to be there. So
might do a vlog, might not. Who knows? Might be too busy to do a vlog. Might be too busy gushing over all sorts of.
I think the first day you will be. That's exactly what I was doing. I was walking around like. After that,
vlog.
It's a bit more chill.
Vlog time.
Yeah.
Vlog time. Might see a vlog in October. Who knows? We'll see. But hopefully we're going. That's another thing to announce. We're going to Comic-Con maybe.
Yes.
Together.
Yes.
Which would be so sick. And yeah. I could video you meeting Ashley Johnson.
That would be really
Get it
sick.
documented on video.
Yeah.
I bet that's the one thing you regret not doing with Troy Baker. I think I remember.
I've got a few photos.
I remember you saying like, I wish I'd just recorded audio on my phone when meeting Troy.
Put it in my pocket, yeah.
I can be your professional photographer while you meet Ashley.
Great. Across the room, just
There you go.
locking in.
Just really get a tight zoom in, really get it cinematic. Make a nice TikTok edit of it as well. Anyway, I think we're done here. Is there anything else you want to say about The Last of Us? Anything about it? The show?
I mean, there's a lot.
The first
to
game,
say.
the second game, the third game when it comes out. Anything?
Yeah.
Anything
I'm
at all.
let the world know.
Because this is your
the
time to talk
do
about it.
I'm going to say that The Last of Us is my favourite thing to ever come out of anything. Of all mediums, of all media, The Last of Us is it. I've made countless friends over The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Me included. It
Well, partially
changed-
Unis Arnest, but also Last of Us.
A bit of both.
Bit of both.
It's changed the way I think as a person.
Mm.
It's changed the way I think about stories and characters.
How long have we
It's
got?
how
We've got loads of time.
Oh.
We've got 15 minutes
That's
to wrap
fine.
this.
I'm going to spend 15 minutes
Please
talking
don't.
right
I want to say a piece as well.
Yes, that's fine. It's changed the way I think about all kinds of storytelling.
Yeah.
And it's made me understand my relationships with people better. And it's kind of helped me in all sorts of ways. It's taught me how not to grieve by going on mass kill sprees. And in a way that taught me how to grieve. So that's a cool thing.
Yeah. The second game is the second game is about grief. We figured it out.
Grief. Yeah.
The first game is about the immorality of. Well, it's about love.
It's about love.
The first game is about love. The second game is about hate and grief.
Well,
hate and grief.
Well, I think
Less
it's love
hate,
and
more
grief because grief.
What will the third game be about?
persevering.
What's the theme in the third game then? Love, grief, and what's the third one?
Love, grief, maybe acceptance.
Yeah.
Full acceptance.
Yeah. I was saying how Ellie's story was leading to acceptance in the second game. That makes so much sense.
I don't think she fully got there though.
Well, no, she was there in terms of I'm not going to kill Abby anymore,
Yeah.
but not acceptance of everything.
Of all that's happened, I think
She's accepted that maybe revenge isn't the best answer, but not acceptance of everything.
Yeah.
Damn, we figured it out.
Yeah.
Love, grief, acceptance.
Yeah. The 3 games, the trifecta.
Yeah.
The perfect trilogy.
Do you think it should end at the third game then? Or do you?
I think Ellie's story should end at the 3rd game. Yeah.
Do you think they should do a 4th without her?
I think they could do spin-offs of other places in the world in the same universe, same.
I don't think they should be a Last of Us Part 4.
No.
A Last of Us subtitled.
Yeah.
Sort of type of shit afterwards.
Yeah.
They're doing a multiplayer game, aren't they?
They are Fractions. I'm so excited for that.
Yeah.
We should get it and play it.
We should.
That'd be so cool.
Agreed. A big agree.
Open world multiplayer, Last of Us world.
I'm gonna say my piece about Last of Us 2.
Yes, go.
It's not my favourite thing ever, but it's so fucking high up. My favourite things are metal, horror movies, Doctor Who, and then probably below that maybe Walking Dead. Then below that is probably actually Last of Us, especially after the show coming out. Like it's in everything in the world that's so good and pure to me. It's in the top 10, which is high praise. Top 7, top 8, I don't know what that was, but yeah, it's so great. The first game came out in 2013, and I watched the Let's Play from Markiplier, and instantly fell in love. So much so that I begged my mate to borrow their PlayStation and game to play it for myself, and it basically taught me about more in-depth storytelling about the inner workings of a person's mind and how. Because at the age of 13, which is how old I was when I played the game, probably too young to play a game like that, who cares, that people can be not good or bad, they can be something in between. That's what that story taught me at that age. That people don't have to be purely good or evil. Well, it's better if they are purely good, to be honest, generally speaking. But in storytelling, you don't have to, because I've always been big into telling stories, writing stories, And this one taught me that you can create a compelling character and they don't have to be the good guy. You just have to root for them, and doing that in a way that is compelling and real and relatable is all you need. And that is what they've done with Joel, and that's why Joel is my favourite character. Second game came out, 2020? Yeah?
Yeah.
During lockdown.
July
what a year for a zombie game to come out now,
I know.
right? Anyway.
Fitting. Yeah.
I know. The second game came out, and it was like meeting up with my friends again. That's what, because the first game was like, it was like school. Yeah. It's like you meet all these people that you know for so long. You play the game over and over and over, and you get to know Tommy and Maria and Ellie, Joel, and fucking David, no, Riley or whatever.
Can't wait to meet David again.
Yeah. Oh, and Riley again. God, what a great character. I can't wait for Riley to come back in part 3. But yeah, second game comes out, and it's like saying hi to your old friends. At least it was for me when the second game. Like, oh, there's Ellie all grown up. Oh, there's Joel with a really sick ass beard and longer hairdo, and then Tommy as well. And obviously it was heartbreaking, but it also taught me how, like, much like you, how to deal with grief in more healthier ways than Ellie or Abby, for that matter. Yeah. Initially, on first play of the game, I didn't like it. I didn't hate it, but I was so confused how to feel about it. I still stuck it through to the end because I enjoyed the gameplay, and I understood what they were trying to tell, or at least I thought I did. It took a few tries before I realised, oh, Abby and Ellie, they're paralleled, they're the same character in this context of the storytelling. Yeah. So, first game taught me, but both games have taught me how to correctly tell stories in clever ways. Like, in both games, they taught me how to write a compelling protagonist without them being the good guy. Ellie is not the good guy. Joel is not the good guy.
Nope.
Abby's not the good guy.
There's no good guy.
No.
Except Dina. And Jesse.
Poor Jesse.
But not JJ.
The second game taught me that life is cruel, and Jesse will die.
And fragile. Yeah. And it can be gone just like that, instantly.
Abby can become a sharpshooter real quick and just pop Jesse right in the head. No
auto lock, like
auto aim, really. Auto aim on him
straight away.
I think that's all I have to say, to be honest. But it is such a great IP. They've made such beautifully written characters in this story, and I think I've said my piece. Probably. I probably think of something else to say once, like an hour later. I'll ring you, but Xander. I remembered.
I'm thinking of like the most poetic explanation of my feelings towards it in the world, and I'll be like, oh well, too late.
Oh well.
I'll remember it next time. I never will remember it again.
No. I think that's all I have to say.
Yeah. I always feel like this after I've talked about Last of Us. I'm like,
this is how we felt after Unis Honest, except like times 2, because it's like twice the length, probably. I think we have actually reached like 2 hours 30, or at least close to it. This is the longest podcast I've ever done.
Almost like 3 hours.
I don't think the ads are going to be that long.
No, but they were like, overall, there's like 4 of them.
3, 4? I don't know how many there are.
I think there's 4 of them.
4 of them. Let's make 4 just in case.
Yeah, and then that'll come to like 5 minutes. 4 of them.
Yeah, probably.
So then that's like...
Yeah, we're going to end this now and do the adverts. And
then go write an essay.
You will. I'm going to play Sims.
I will go write an essay with breaks of playing The Last of Us.
Can I join you for those?
Maybe. If I actually do play, I'll message you. I probably won't, because I can't. But if I do, if I cave and I do, then I'll let you know.
Cool.
But I probably won't play it.
Oh.
All things considered.
No.
Because I do have an essay to write.
Don't play with my feelings like that, Xander.
I'm saying if I do play it,
okay,
I'll let you know. But I probably won't.
But yeah, so season 1 of The Last of Us gets a
10 out of 10.
11 out of 10.
Oh, okay, I feel under.
And the first game gets an 11 out of 10 as well. The second game gets a 10 out of 10. No, 9.5 because of the pacing.
Okay.
Because of the pacing, actually. I was a bit too generous. I need to be realistic. First game is an 11 out of 10. Second game is a 9.5. Almost perfect. Like my criteria is 10 out of 10 is the perfect thing. 11 out of 10 is one of my favourite things of all time. But then 9.5 is like almost perfect. Like right there. Actually 9.9 out of 10. Let's just say that for part 2.
Fair enough.
There you go.
I'm going to... No, I'll go 9... I'm going 9 And no, I'll go 10 out of 10 for the first game.
And what about the second?
And the second, well, there's no number for it.
No.
It's the thing. It's my thing.
It's The Last of Us Part 2 out of 10.
Yes. The Last of Us Part 11 out of 10.
There you go. That's it.
Yeah.
Cool. I think that's all we have to say. If you watched all the way to the end, what the fuck are you doing with your life?
Yeah, you need to get.
Could you really commit that long to a podcast?
I mean, you've made this, and now you're mocking them for watching what you've made. You're like, are you still here? You fucking no
idiot.
life.
That's what you're talking about, doing it.
Go outside, touch grass, just play the game yourself. Anything. You could have watched an episode of the game for Jacksepticeye's channel right now.
You could have watched like half of the season in the time this podcast has been running, probably. Yeah. God.
You could be during episode. No, you'd be at the end of episode 2 right now.
No, end of episode 3, probably.
Halfway through episode 3 right now.
Yeah, because episode 1's extended.
Half,
yeah,
then a little bit more. So yeah, you'd be like halfway through episode 3 right now.
Cool.
But you're here listening to us chat shit.
All right, we're gonna go now. It is now. Oh my God, it's nearly 11.
That's fine.
He got here at 7:30 to record this thing. It's now nearly 11.
Yeah.
Yeah. Join us for the next podcast where we talk about something else we really care about and drone on for 5 hours. Hopefully not. There won't be anything that we talk about longer than Last of Us, probably.
That's true.
Anyway,
and
goodbye, everyone.
There'll be another one of these about Last of Us soon. Not soon, but one day.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to return to The Last of Us.
Season 2.
What we'll do is we'll actually benchmark this.
Yes.
When The Last of Us Season 2 comes out, we'll come back and discuss the second game in even more detail than we did, because we discussed
the first game more
a lot in this podcast, but not too much of the second, because we didn't want to run out of battery again and run out of space on the SD card again in the same podcast.
Twice.
Yeah. So we'll return for more Last of Us talking, whether you want it or not.
They do. They're still watching.
They are, and if you're not, then you're not hearing this right now.
And we're talking to ourselves. We're talking to
There's going to be like 2 views on this video.
Yeah.
God, we don't care though. This is a passion project. This one. Anyway, we're going to go record the adverts now. So we're going to go. We're going to let you go now. If you actually watched to the end of this, thank you. How the fuck did you do that? You are a soldier. Okay. Cool.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Jesus. I'm going to go to the editor tomorrow and I'm going to look at the runtime of the raw footage and I'm going to tell you the exact numbers to the millisecond of how long that is. Oh,
I'm scared.
Someone messaged me. Your socks will be fully blown off.
I'm going to be fucking my socks. You're right. What?
Goodbye.
What? Oh.
Your face!
I thought you finished recording. Okay, go away now. Thank you.
That's the perfect way to...